Hey guys, it's Floppy Disk Repairman again. Hope you enjoy this edit. It was fun to put together. I did want to add that if you go to my shorts or any of my socials, I actually went to a lot of the ANMA locations where they were getting coffee. I even went to the old tech company where they used to work at. Oh, and also Jason Saldana, the voice of Tucker from Red vs. Blue, who the guys have talked about a few times, has a band called Valley Video, and he let me use one of their songs for the intro for all those little ANMA locations. There may be a slight delay after this video. This week is Homebrew in Austin, basically the new kind of fan-run RTX. My podcast, Flying the Coop, has a live show on Friday, and I'm actually going to be shooting a lot of video for some more videos that'll be coming out. So I'll be a little crammed, but I will try my best to get another one of these out within the next week or two. But thanks for sticking around, guys. Hope you enjoy.
By the way, good morning, Gus. Good morning, Eric.
Yes, good morning. I mean, this is Grackletown right now going on over here. So this coffee shop's right next to a convenience store called Monarch Food Mart. It's been here for a long time. I can't remember.
Do you remember what it was before it was Sherwood Coffee Shop?
Shit. No, I don't remember.
It was Quacks.
It was Quacks. That's right.
It was a Quack and Bushes, yeah.
That was back in 99? Question mark? 2000?
Yeah, it would have been.
Somewhere right around there?
I want to say they flipped to Cherrywood maybe around 2003 or 4.
Was it that late? Oh, I thought it was earlier. So Quacks is over like at 43rd and Duval.
Captain Quackenbush's.
They used to have a couple locations. Didn't they have a location down on the Drag as well?
Yeah, they had one on the Drag.
Yeah, now it's just 43rd and Duval. But the Monarch is right next door, which is a convenience store I've been going to for a long time. I used to play D&D with Adam, Justin, and Frank. And Adam lived not too far from here, a little south, back in the, I don't know, what was late 90s, early 2000s?
Oh, down on MLK or whatever?
Yeah, I've got stories about that house, actually. I'm going to tell in a minute.
Do you remember the day we drove by and we saw the house next to it burned to the ground?
Yeah, that was wild.
We got out and we took photos with our phones.
With digital cameras, because phones didn't have cameras yet.
I wonder whatever happened to those photos.
But I used to stop here on the way down to Adams because I would, I don't know why. Like, I think I would turn here and I would go down Cherrywood, which, turns into Pleasant Valley over there. And I would get, like, beer or whatever at the Monarch. I've been going to this convenience store for a long time. And I remember there used to always be this, like, really friendly Pakistani dude who worked there. Mm-hmm. But, like, all of a sudden one day, like in 2009, 2010, he was just, like, gone.
Yeah.
And I always wondered what happened. He was, like, I don't know, he was always, like, super affable and, like, always talked to everyone. Like, he remembered, like, I'd only come in, like, once a week maybe, but he'd always remember me and, like, just chit-chat about whatever.
One of those dudes that instantly remembered your name.
Yeah.
And you felt like a regular.
Yeah.
He made you feel like a regular.
Yeah.
I remember him too. He was a delight. And then he well, he left.
I think the story I heard, because he worked with another man from Pakistan. The other man was older.
Yeah.
And
he was like his nephew or something.
Right. I think I think he was the dude's uncle. And I asked about him, or I don't remember how I heard it actually, but I heard that he got sent back to Pakistan.
Oh man.
I don't know if he got in trouble here or something happened, but he was no longer here. But
not like legal trouble. I think he got
family trouble or something.
Yeah. But he didn't like commit a bunch of crimes and then have to get leave the country or anything. He was awesome. He was an awesome guy.
Yeah, God, I wish I could remember his name. Was like Samir. It's been so long. I mean, it's been over a decade. But anyway, I used to drive down. Like I was saying, I used to drive down over here because I would drive down Cherrywood to get to Adam's old house. It was like off of. I don't want to say too specifically. It was over there. You know where it was. And
he doesn't live there anymore, and he hasn't for a very long time.
He has not lived there for a long time. But I remember it was. I
think the house might.
The house is still there. I drove by it a couple weeks ago. But back, we talk about the gentrification and how much Austin has pushed east and pushed a lot of people out. That neighborhood was like, it was a little rough around the edges back then. And I remember sometimes I would go down there to play D&D at Adams, and he didn't have a very big driveway or anything, so I'd have to park in the neighborhood. And I would park in front of a house, get out with my D&D books and dice to go to Adam's house, and the owner of the house would come out and start yelling at me, telling me I couldn't park in front of their house. I'd be like, well, I'm not going to leave my car here. They're going to always fuck with it if I leave. So I'd have to get in my car and try to find a house where no one was paying attention to park there to go play Dungeons & Dragons. I remember we were playing D&D once at Adam's house, and we were in the kitchen, around the kitchen table playing, and I was like, Adam, I think there's someone on your front porch, out in front of your front door. He goes, oh, yeah, that's my neighbor. And I was like, what's he doing out there? And Adam's like, he sells drugs there sometimes. And I was like, what? He goes, yeah, he doesn't want to do it in front of his house because he doesn't want to get in trouble. So he comes and sells it in front of my house. I'm like, are you okay with that? He's like, well, I'm not going to tell him no.
Adam then moved to another house further east where I would go. It's a really cool place, actually. But I would go visit him, and it'd be like, like a Texas summer day like today, where it's going to hit 110 degrees, and there would be a dude outside at 2 p.m. with a puffy jacket on, And you'd be like, oh. So I guess the drug dealers followed him.
Yeah.
Well, he was just attracted to a certain neighborhood. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, but yeah, it was good times. That dude was always out there. I never talked to him. I never met him, but I was like, I could recognize him. I was like, I know that dude. When we've talked about your house that got foreclosed on by the HOA and repossessed and everything. You left a bunch of comics in the attic of that house.
I left 13 video game consoles in that attic too. Our entire collection that we had gotten from garage sales.
Yeah.
Forgot about it. Left it all in the attic. And then I remembered, and I went,
Yeah, I can't. But wasn't it like years worth of comics?
Yeah. It was a lot.
You try not to think about it? You don't seem very enthusiastic about this topic at the moment.
Yeah, I was like, I somehow along the way lost about 10,000 comic books, and some of them were there. It wasn't all of them, and I vaguely remember in my drinkiest of drinking days offering them to somebody, but I don't remember giving them to anyone, and I feel like I would remember going to my storage shed and unlocking it and opening it and helping people take out 12 long boxes of comics, but they're just not there. And so I don't know if somebody broke into my storage shed and got them, or if I was that hammered that I just don't remember it. But yeah, it's like there's a gap in my memory, and I don't know what happened to those.
I was driving down in South Austin last weekend. Yeah, last week. Well, I like in the holiday weekend, right? Like 4th of July, 5th of July, right around then. And I drove down, what is that, like South 1st and William Cannon, and
Sure.
I passed by that old comic shop.
Oh, yeah.
Where you used to go to, used to spend a lot of time there. Like,
Yeah, I used to work there sometimes.
yeah, like 25 years ago or something.
Yeah.
And it was like that strip mall, or not that strip mall. It's not even a strip mall. Like little shopping center is like identical. Like the names of the businesses have changed, but you could take a look at that and you'd have no idea what year you were in looking at it from the street.
That guy's name was Mark. He was one of my first friends in Austin. I lost contact with him over the years. Have I told my Neil Gaiman story on this podcast?
No.
So he was the first person I made friends with. I lived at William Cannon in South First. It was before I worked at even before I worked at Telenetwork.
I feel like we have heard the Neil Gaiman story on this podcast.
We probably have.
But how you acted like you didn't know him.
No big deal.
Oh.
That was his comic shop that I was working at when I did that.
That's cool.
Yeah, I lived at South First and William Cannon, a place called Cooper's Hill. It's not Cooper's Hill anymore. It's still there, but it's
Something
a different.
different.
Yeah. I was asking you guys how you're enjoying your summer. I'm delighted at all the threads on Reddit right now in the Austin subreddit from people that are discovering Austin summers. Like, I just moved here from South Carolina, and I thought South Carolina was hot. And it's like, no.
It's hot. There's, okay.
Is this a lot of like, is this normal? Like, this isn't sustainable. It's like, well.
The Austin subreddit is very snarky and mean, but there's one dude they're not mean enough to. And I'm glad you brought up the Austin subreddit because I've been thinking about this person. Last week in the Austin subreddit, someone posted a thread that was like, my thoughts on Austin after 4 days. It's like someone who moved to Austin after 4 days.
Lord.
Yeah, and everyone was like super positive, like, oh yeah, super cool. And the person was like, I moved here, I forget from where, like down in the South First and Ditmar area, which is down, like what we're talking about, area. And, had their thoughts on the various things in Austin so far. And everyone was like super positive, and I was like, well, that's weird. Oh, well, whatever. Then he made a follow-up post like yesterday that's like, a follow-up, my thoughts on Austin after 11 days.
After 11 days.
And, continued thoughts on, Buda, I guess, because he lives so far south. And then, again, everyone's like super positive, like, oh, yeah, this is great, thank you. Oh, this was a great read. I'm like, this is the Austin subreddit, right? I thought everyone here was like super mean and they're being like super nice to this person. I was like, come on, guys. we can't let this slide. You can't be nice to this person. Who cares what the fuck this person thinks? You have to live here for 25 years and start a podcast before people listen to your thoughts on Austin. There was the Austin Cobra. And people got really into that on the Austin subreddit. Were you living here when the Austin Cobra happened?
Austin Cobra?
There was
like a snake?
Yeah, there was a cobra on the loose in the city.
What?
And they were like tracking it on the Austin subreddit.
Wait, how?
It was like a dude who owned a bunch of snakes and animals. I want to say he was like from Killeen or somewhere like just north of here. And he came down to Austin and the police found him dead in his car in a parking lot of like a Home Depot in North Austin. And the doors were open and there were a bunch of like empty animal carriers. He apparently owned a cobra and the cobra had gotten out of the carrier and was then loose somewhere in North Austin.
It killed him.
Yeah.
What?
I think the speculation is that he had the snake bite him, like he committed suicide by this snake.
Suicide by snake.
And then like let the snake loose. And so for like a couple of weeks, people were like freaked out. Like, there's a cobra loose. We have to find it. They found the dead cobra a couple weeks later. It got run over in the parking lot. Like, like it made it like 50 feet and got run over by a car. But the Austin subreddit was just rife with people speculating about where the Austin cobra was and who they wanted it to bite. You know, like,
I moved here when there were a bunch of like mail bombs or like package bombs. That's like that was like the week I moved here, and my mom was going, "Oh, how's Austin?" I'm like, "Great. I think they're still trying to catch that guy who's like blowing people up or something."
That was so sad.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
That was insane.
That was ridiculous.
the weirdest part about that to me was, after the investigation, they found the guy and, he died. But the weirdest part about that to me was when the FBI was like, yeah, we got his manifesto and all of his writings, but it's all nonsense, so we're not going to release any of it.
Really?
Yeah, they never released any of his writings or like any of his audio or anything. They just said like it's beyond comprehension. There's no value from releasing any of this because it was such a weird random act.
Huh.
Wow.
So no real closure on that, and it was seemingly random. He was mailing some. He would set up explosives on sidewalks in random neighborhoods. There was no like method to it. He even went down. I think he set up like a tripwire and mine like down off of Southwest Parkway.
Yeah.
Which that area down there, that interchange of highways used to always intimidate me when I first moved to Austin.
Really?
Like, what is that? Like Ben White, Mopac, and like 290 and 71, like just before the Y.
Just because it's like you confused as to where to go?
Well, yeah, because like back then, the only Best Buy in town was that Best Buy down there at that intersection. So if I wanted to go buy like a DVD or video game.
Do you remember that we would go to that Best Buy constantly?
Yes.
We would also go to that Serrano's next door just because there was a hostess that we were all had the hots for.
Yeah.
She was super pretty.
It's funny you say that because I wanted to tell a Serrano story today, but we used to always go to that Best Buy on Tuesday because Andrew, clued us into the fact that obviously we knew that's when new movies came out, but that Best Buy would sell them on a discount, like on their release day. So whenever we'd have lunch from the call center, we'd go down to that Best Buy because it was, Ben White didn't extend all the way east to 35, but we'd get on Ben White. And I mean, it did extend, but it wasn't a freeway. And we'd go down to that Best Buy to look for movies on Tuesdays. But we would do we would try to find activities to do at lunch. I don't know if you remember. I was also thinking about this the other day. Do you remember when we would go to the airport for lunch?
Yes.
This was pre-9/11,
pre-9/11.
when you could walk into the airport and do whatever you wanted. There was a Salt Lick at the airport. And it was like, we like going to the Salt Lick, but it's so far. It's like our call center wasn't too far from the airport. It's like, let's just go to the airport and we'll get like a brisket sandwich at the Salt Lick.
It was like a third the distance to go to eat at the Salt Lick at the airport than it was to get on 1826 or whatever and go down to,
And the Salt Lick back then, like the Salt Lick is still at the airport, but back then it's like, it was across the way from where it is now, like over where like that Amy's ice cream is. Mm-hmm. And they even had like a little pit where they would like supposedly cook the food there. It was like really, really weird. Now it looks a lot more professional, but we would go down there just because you could. I mean, we were trying to get away from the call center and just like do something to get through the drudgery of the day. But Serrano's, that's what I was going to talk about.
Okay.
There used to be a Serrano's over there, like off of Red River and 11th or 12th.
Yes.
Like just east of the Capitol. And we would eat there every now and then. It became a brick oven pizza. I don't know what it is now. It's like by where Brackenridge Hospital used to be.
It was a brick oven. It's still the shell of a brick oven pizza. I think it has been gated off, and they're going to put a condo or some sort of a office park there.
The Austin Evolution. But we
had a nice courtyard, that Serrano's.
Yeah, we ate at that Serrano's a few times. You, me, and your first ex-wife. And I don't know if you remember this. I tricked her into eating a Serrano pepper one time at that restaurant. Do you remember that?
Yeah, she was. I'll say this about her. She never got over that. She never forgave you for that. That imprinted on her, and she. Yeah, I think that. I mean, I haven't spoken to her in 20 years, but I would imagine she's still bothered by it.
We were. So the name of the restaurant is Serrano. So like any dish you get, there's a Serrano pepper on the plate, and like we'd all eat in our meals or whatever, and so you don't eat the Serrano. It's hot as hell, and
some of us did.
she like I don't know what possessed her. She asked us. She was like, what's the deal with these peppers? Are they really hot? And I was like, no, they're really not. They're really delicious.
That's why they put it on everything.
They put it on the plate. Yeah, you eat it. Why aren't you eating it? And I picked mine up from my plate and I pretended to take a bite out of it. I was like, look, see, it's fine, all good. And she's like, oh, okay. So she picked hers up and took a giant bite out of it. It's just like this raw Serrano pepper on the plate. And I remember sitting there just like being like, don't laugh, don't smile, just like try to have a neutral expression on your face. And she like turned red. It was like watching a cartoon where like a cartoon character just like turns red and steam comes out of their ears. But it was a combination of spiciness and fury in her case, though.
She was from upstate New York. They didn't have spicy food up there. You know what, though? I'll say this, and not because of any of the divorce stuff, but she deserved it, and I'll tell you why. She deserved it specifically with you and from you because she did something to you early on in the friendship.
Yeah.
I can tell it's jogged a memory.
Yeah.
She one time, we're like 23. We're very young back then.
Yeah.
She one time went out with a bunch of her friends from work, wherever she had worked at the time, and they were going to go out drinking on a Friday night. And I remember she was a homebody, so it was weird for her to go out at all. And she was also just kind of mean. And so she didn't have a lot of friends in general. Like, she didn't like people, and people mostly didn't like her. It was kind of a mutual thing.
I'm not going to fault her for not liking people.
No, I mean, she was very.
That's
That's why she and Gus got along, right? Like, Gus didn't like people either. Right. But anyway, so she went out and was going to go drinking one night, and Gus and I were hanging out playing video games, and we get a call at like 10 o'clock.
It's funny you say. I was thinking 10:30, but yeah, somewhere right around there. Yeah, not too
pretty
late.
early on a Friday night, and she like can barely talk. Like, she's ossified.
Yeah,
and she's like, I need you to come get me. I'm ready to come home. Had to leave her car
like
there.
Incomprehensible slurring. It was difficult to figure out.
And so Gus and I were like, fuck, okay. So we get in the car and we drive. I don't even remember where she went.
I remember.
Where'd she go?
It was Common Interest.
What is Common Interest?
It's that karaoke place over on Burnett.
Yeah, I felt like it was on Burnett. Yeah.
So we were off of Riverside at the time.
Yeah.
So we had to take the 10-minute drive up to Burnett.
To the other end of the world. Yeah. To pick her up. And she's in the, like, she's outside waiting for us with her friends, and she's just fucking hammered and obnoxious. And we're like having to like but like walk her to the car, and she's like fighting us and like wanting to party. And she's being like a typical drunk person, you know, like, oh, this is to hurry for, you know, that kind of stuff. And Gus was like, we really got to get you home. You need to go home.
He was really
and
drunk.
then she just turned around and full-throated threw up on Gus.
Yeah, I got
just out of the blue, just like mid-sentence, like, I'm not drunk,
warning.
I don't need to, and just hurled at Gus, all over him.
Yeah.
And
I was covered in what I suspect was a Tom Collins at one point,
or
multiple Tom Collins.
It would have been a Tom Collins. That was the only thing we drank.
I think it was. Yeah.
It was probably 3. That was her pass out limit. And I remember after that, I felt so bad, and so we have to get her in the car and get Gus all cleaned up and everything. And then I remember, not too terribly long after that, we got separated and then eventually divorced. And I remember Gus telling me once that night was an inflection point in our friendship. And he went home and made a list of pros and cons. Seriously, a list of pros and cons about whether it was worth it to maintain the friendship with me because of her. And I think it was close, but I won out.
I made a list. It's back when I lived at that apartment where we've talked about before, where the dude came out and told me his roommate was eating habanero peppers. I was living down there, and I made I put pen to paper. It was
such a fucking Gus thing to do.
How close was it?
I think it was neck and neck. I think it was like one vote in the pro. Like
I was one vote away from getting eliminated from our friendship. I was going to get voted off Friendship Island.
No Rooster Teeth because of this pros and cons list.
It would have been an awkward working environment. We worked together.
Hey, do you want to hang out later? Absolutely not.
Let me show you my list.
I always wanted to see that list.
I think I made it and I threw it away.
I'm sure you did.
You hold on to.
I had no idea at the time how close I came to losing my friendship with Gus. And now here we are, 25 years later. We're still friends.
Yeah.
We're still friends.
Joke's on them.
Yeah.
We showed everyone else. Yeah, Common Interest is still there.
I've never been. I mean, I've been in the parking lot.
I think I went in once.
I don't karaoke. So.
I don't either. I think it was like back at the call center. Maybe it was before you moved here. It's like with a bunch of call center people.
Well, I remember like Ray and Nicole and all those people loved it. Most people like karaoke.
That was the bowling.
That
was the bowling crew.
Yeah, the bowling crew.
Man, I haven't seen those people in forever. It's been a real long time.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah, but it was one of those things when she threw up on me. Not to just focus
belabor
on this.
The point.
Yeah, belabor. Thank you. I was going to say belay. I was like, that's not it. Not to belabor the point, but I remember it happened, And I thought, like, in the moment, I was like, I can't get angry. I can't yell. She's drunk. Like, there's no reasoning with this. And also, I don't want to discourage her from calling us again if she's too drunk to drive. So I was like, I just have to... There's nothing I can do.
Yeah,
I just have
also,
to sit
by the
here
way-
and get vomited on.
Also, by the way, she did the right thing.
Yeah.
She absolutely did the
yeah.
right thing. She called us and we came and picked her up. Thank God she did that.
Yeah.
Instead of getting behind the wheel.
Yeah. No, that would be awful. So it was a real biting your tongue moment, but I got her back by making her bite that Serrano.
She did the dumbest shit. I don't want to make this a whole indictment on my failed relationships, but I'm just going to say one thing about this woman that pissed me off. One day, I got a call while I was at work, and she said, hey, just to let you know, I'm buying a new car.
What?
And I said, can we, what? Why? And she goes, I just decided I'm ready for a new car. And I go, but your car's not that old. And she goes, yeah, I don't care. And I go, what are you getting? She was like, I'm at Toyota. And I was like, well, hold on. I'll take a lunch break and I'll come meet you and help you. And she goes, no, I can do this on my own. I don't need your help. And I go, I really think that this is a major purchase. We should probably make it together, you know? And she goes, no, just I'll see you when you get home. And I come home and sure enough, there's a brand new Toyota Echo in my front driveway. And I go, okay, you know, why? And she was just like, I just decided I was ready for a new car. She had like a Geo Metro and she upgraded.
I cannot remember what car she
it
had
was a
before.
silver, it looked like a egg. It was like a Geo Metro.
I remember the Echo, but I can't remember
Yeah,
before
and
that.
so then she proceeded to tell me about what a good deal she got. She was like, really, like, I don't need you for this. I'm an independent person. I can handle this. I'm like, yeah, whatever. She got tricked into buying a Toyota Echo. She told me it was the rarest color that you couldn't get it anywhere.
Seafoam blue.
Seafoam blue. Every Toyota Echo was seafoam blue, by the way.
Seafoam
green is what it's called.
Yeah, okay,
seafoam
yeah.
green. I corrected because I thought you were, but it was seafoam green.
yeah.
Which was great because every time we would leave the house, I'd go, oh, look, another one of those super rare Toyota Echoes. Well, you don't see those every day, except every day in Austin when we see them because it's the main color. It's like, oh, I bought a tan Camry. You don't see those.
Speaking of what you did on the
I did have a tan
for a
Camry,
while.
right? Yeah, I did. What would you imagine that her interest rate would be?
Just you asking the question, I don't even want to venture.
What year was
a
this?
guess.
2000?
This would have been the year of our Lord 2001, I believe.
2001? Okay.
2001, yeah.
I'm not going to, whatever you're about to tell me is going to.
13.5%. She got an interest rate on a car for 13.5% on a Toyota fucking Echo.
Oh, yeah, but it's seafoam blue. Green.
Seafoam green.
You see, you did the same thing.
13.
It looked like a blue car to me.
And she's like, what, is that bad? And I'm like, are you fucking serious?
Well,
I'm like,
I will say, in her defense, car dealerships are sketchy as fuck.
Yes.
And they will do that thing where they're like, what do you want to pay a month?
I know.
And-
But that's why I wanted to be there.
But that's it. That's exactly what I was
It's
about
predatory.
to say. Is that you're not going there to be like, I'll solve this for you. You're going there to make sure everything's on the up and
that we both don't get fucked.
It's a team thing, and she's just like, don't worry, I got this.
And then,
and a half on an Echo.
then we get separated and divorced or whatever. And then I find out she was like, I'm gonna sell the Echo.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, cool. And this is in that period during the divorce where we're disentangling our stuff. She was like, I'm going to sell the Echo. And I'm like, I look it up, Kelley Blue Book. It's worth $9,800 or something, I want to say. She sold it told me she got a good deal on it. She sold it for $3,500 in cash.
Oh, my God.
At a dealer. She's like, yeah, I got a good deal. I'll give you $3,500. And I was like, it's worth $9,000. And she's like, that's not what they said. I'm like, thank God we're getting divorced.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I'm doing the math in my head. That's a bad deal. Just FYI.
God damn it.
It took me a second to get. I was waiting. They were both taking a drink. I was like, oh, this is going to be perfectly timed. They were both.
So now that we're talked about a bunch of failed relationship stuff, Gus, you want to talk about cleaning your gun? Nah, we can hold off on that. That's a whole other thing.
That's a teaser.
When you hear about people going in the water here, you don't go in the water around the city. You got to go like way out, like Lake Travis, all that stuff. Has it always?
Fuck Lake Travis.
The reason is, and you're probably asking because of like Lady Bird Lake, right?
Yeah, it's that stuff, and then
Yeah.
you always hear about that. Has it always been that
Yes.
way? I guess is.
So Lady Bird Lake used to be called, probably when you moved here, it was Town Lake.
Yeah, it was
they
Town
they
Lake.
renamed
Yeah,
it a few years ago. Do you know why you're not supposed to go in the water there?
I just assume it's gross.
It's filled with construction debris.
Yeah.
Oh, is that right?
Right, when like
And toxic algae right now, but yeah.
During one of the earlier boom periods of Austin when they were destroying and rebuilding everything, instead of taking all the construction debris to be properly disposed of, they just bulldozed it into Lady Bird Lake. So you have to be careful. That's why they also tell you don't jump off of bridges into the water because you might get stabbed with rebar.
Yeah.
If you go too far into the water, it's just they're filled with old concrete, rebar, and steel at the bottom there.
So it is like when people say like this water's fucking gross, don't go in this water.
Yeah.
They mean
There's probably asbestos and
dude, that's
everything you can imagine.
That's a great thing to look up on TikTok or Instagram. Is all the people that go supping on Town Lake or on Lady Bird, and then they decide they're going to swim, and then they come back and they just have hives all over their body from all this fucking toxic algae.
Yeah.
I would stay out of there. I go to Lake Austin.
I think
Lake Travis is too far away and it's too choppy and trashy. Lake Austin is perfect. I like Lake Austin.
I think they found a new strain of toxic algae.
Did they really?
In Lady Bird Lake just this past weekend. I think I saw a new story about it.
Keep your fucking dogs
Yeah, it's super toxic.
out of Lady Bird Lake. It's really bad for dogs.
I feel like the ambiance of a coffee shop means a lot to you because you
It does.
had
It means a
things
lot
to say
to me.
about the ambiance of over at Flight Path, which also isn't too far from here.
Yeah.
It's weird for me. It's just the coffee. I don't give a fuck what the place looks like or anything. Do they have, like if I'm going to sit down? Do they have Wi-Fi for me to use? Fine, great. Coffee, cool.
I think it's because if I had to guess, a lot of it probably has to do with growing up in Alabama and just having there be nothing cool to explore. Like when I was in high school, there wasn't a place like this. And I remember when I was in the Army, I was like maybe 20. I spent a summer in South Carolina, in Columbia, going to a photography program at the University of South Carolina. Go Gamecocks, right? And that's the closest thing I have because I did one semester at the University of South Carolina. That's my
go Gamecocks.
That's what they are, right?
You can pick anything. They don't tell you no. Yeah, we're the Gamecocks. What is Tennessee's like the Volunteers?
Volunteers, yeah.
Gamecocks.
Yeah.
The fuck?
And
At least not a racist name they have to change.
Yeah.
Let's look on the bright side.
There was a coffee shop by the college that I would go to that was just like a typical. I was trying to say typical and stereotypical at the same time. Stereotypical coffee shop, like college coffee shop, like broken ass couches, brightly painted old walls in an old house that's kind of like been converted. You know, like a bunch of like dudes in berets trying to impress girls. Reading Sartre and stuff. And I just fell in love with it because it was like what I'd seen in movies, right? Like, and so I thought like this is. I finally get to experience these places. And I think since that moment it like imprinted, that mattered. It's always mattered to me.
I see. So you're looking for like that idyllic movie or TV experience.
I think so, yeah.
I get it.
I think so, yeah.
It's funny because I grew up in a small town in the middle of nowhere. I just want anything. Maybe that's my thing. It's like anything is better than nothing. Anything's better than where I grew up out in the ass end of nowhere. I remember I was talking with my wife the other day. She's visited the town I grew up in a few times. And I don't know why we're talking about it. We were talking about the town I grew up in. And she was like, I know you told me what a shithole it was and how there was nothing to do there all the time. But when I wasn't, even that didn't prepare me for when I visited the first time. She's like, you were not exaggerating. That's like in the middle of nowhere, nothing. I was like, yeah, and the town you visited is about twice as big as the town I grew up in. Like, it was even less going on back then. And no internet.
Yeah.
God.
That's kind of like I've taken people up to Killeen and Harker Heights, and I describe like where I was stationed. I describe it as like a third world country, and people are like, yeah, whatever. And they go and they're like, oh, I would never go back.
It's like liquor stores, pawn shops, and wig stores.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like it's just places designed to take your paycheck on payday.
Yeah. The wig store.
It just stood out to me. There's a lot of them there. I don't know. Not that I go there often, or it's probably been 20 years since I've been there.
I haven't been there in a
I don't
long
even know
time
why
either.
I've been the last time I would be there.
Speaking of South Austin.
That's good.
So,
and by the way, this might have been the case in other cities in the 90s and the 2000s. It just was very much the case in Austin.
Also, it was very specific because I don't know if you remember I'm sure you remember in the late 90s when we both moved here. They had just built that Metropolitan Theater down south.
We were so excited.
Yeah, and right across from it, there used to be another theater. I think it was
Tinseltown South.
Was it the Tinsel? Oh yeah, that's right, Tinseltown South. That one got built right around the same time, and I want to say that theater opened in '99 or 2000.
It opened before Metropolitan.
Did it?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I only ever went to that Regal. Oh, I'm sorry. We only went to that Tinseltown South one time, maybe twice.
We saw. This gives you an idea how long ago we saw Mission Impossible 2 there together.
Was that?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So, when they were building that theater, this is when I lived off of Riverside. I felt like any time I would go, I used Bank of America at the time. Fuck them, by the way. There was an ATM. It's still there, like right off of Riverside. And what is that? you know what I'm talking about? I think Club Carnival's parking lot.
Yeah.
I would always go to that ATM.
A Frank story there.
And anytime I would use that ATM, there was always a white van that would drive up. And it was always the same spiel every time, like, hey, you want to, I'm working to install the speaker system down at the Tinseltown South, but my boss accidentally ordered too many speakers. They sent these extra ones. It's theater quality speakers. You want to buy them for $300 or whatever?
He says if I come back with these speakers, I'm going to lose my job.
Yeah. And I was fucking broke as hell back then. First of all, I wouldn't have bought the speakers. Second of all, I didn't have $300. And I'd be like, no, dude, sorry, I don't have the money. And he'd always be like, but you're right at an ATM. You can pull it out. Like, you want to see the balance? Like, I don't have the $300. But it was always like, there was always the same dudes in the same white van trying to sell the same shitty speakers, claiming it was for the Tinseltown South to whoever they could.
And they would, anywhere in the South, anytime you would go to a gas station, there was like a 25% chance. You'd have to look over your shoulder. There was like a 25% chance some dude would walk up and be like, hey, man, you like speakers? You listen to music? And you're like, what? And he'd always give you the same fucking spiel. Yeah. I remember we used to always eat at Super Salad down there. And I felt like every time I would go down there and I would get gas around that Super Salad.
It was like South Lamar and Ben White.
Yeah. It's where the Trudy South used to be, right?
Yeah, right across the street from there.
Yeah. And it was constant. It was like you just constantly harassed about speakers.
Yeah.
Anytime you would stop in a parking lot or a gas station in Austin for about 5 years there.
Yeah, they're gone now. I can't remember the last time anyone tried to pull that.
I assume that scam exists in other cities and states too.
Oh, I mean, I got it when I was going to college.
Yeah.
They would come to like college campus and then follow like in like the parking lot and be like, "Oh, I'll just follow you to an ATM." And it's like, "No, you fucking won't."
There was another thing they would always do. I remember this in your apartment complex. Is they would always be like, a dude would always show up from like Pizza Padron or 123 Pizza and just be like, anybody want a $5 pizza? I got pizza here. And he would just have like pizzas they would make and then just go around the apartment complexes.
Yeah.
And just be like, pepperoni pizza, $8, $5.
What?
Yeah.
They would just like park out there. I don't know if
that's insane.
I don't know if that was like a strategy of theirs or if it was like a fake order and like the dude's now left with an extra pizza and he would just be like in the parking lot yelling, who wants a pizza?
And do great business. Somebody would always buy those pizzas.
Whatever works.
Yeah.
Whatever works.
Entrepreneurship.
Yep.
Do you remember that ATM you're talking about specifically? I remember one that you were so fucking mad. You came home. It was when we lived together. You had been hanging out with Frank. And you came home and you're like, I'm going to fucking kill Frank. And I'm like, why? What's going on? He's like, it's lucky Frank knows Kung Fu because I would fucking kill him. And I'm like, what is going on? He was like, it's midnight. Stop at the ATM. And Riverside was a sketchy part of town back then. I guess it's not. It's different. It's a college part of town, but it was pretty gross back in the '90s and early 2000s. And Gus was like, I'm at that fucking ATM, and it's always scary because there's always just like dudes driving by in cars slow at night,
trying
watching
to
sell speakers to you. And I was like people. Like, I remember I stopped going to the Cabana on Riverside at night because there were too many fights at the Cabana.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, I don't want to go. I want to go to Cabana, but I don't want to see two guys get into a gang fight, you know? And Gus was like, so I'm at this fucking, and I'm like taking out money to pay rent or something, and Frank's with me, and there's like 10 dudes behind me who all look like they want to kill me. And Frank's like, $300? Oh my God! What do you need so much money for? And I'm like, Frank, shut the fuck up. And he's like, dude, seriously, that's a lot of money. Is that the max you can take out at an ATM, $300?
What the fuck?
I forgot about this. Oh, my.
And Gus was like, I had to run to my car.
I forgot about that. Oh, my God.
It was a very Frank thing to do.
Yeah, it
just socially
that's very
inept.
Very Frank.
And unaware.
Just unaware.
Unaware.
Yeah, of the surroundings. Oh, my God.
One time, here's another great Frank story. He used to work out off FM 2222. Which I don't know if you've been on that road.
It's very windy.
Like super windy before you get up to 360, right? And it's actually where I've been taking my daughter to learn how to drive because it's good for that. It's scary as shit to teach somebody to drive on. One day I get a call from Frank at like 8 a.m. He's like, "Hey man, can you give me a ride?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I guess." Where do you need a ride to? And he's like, "Well, I need a ride to work, but I got to pick something up from my car first." And I'm like, "Why don't you just take your car to work?" And he's like, "Well, I can't because I wrecked it." But anyway, can you go? Take me to my car. I got to get something out of my car for work, and then can you take me to work? And I'm like, I guess. He wrecked his car in 2222, driving like 80 miles an hour, and crashed on the side of the road. I had to drive over, pick him up, get the stuff out of his car because it was still abandoned there. And I'm like, what the fuck happened to your car? And he's like, I wrecked it again, man. And I'm like, what is going on? And it was like the third or fourth time he had wrecked a car or a motorcycle going way too fast on roads like FM 2222. And another thing that annoyed me about him that day is I was like, I helped him pick up his stuff, and then he's like, yeah, I got to be at work at 9. And I'm like, well, okay, well, I can get you there on time. And he's like, let's stop and get breakfast first. And I'm like, but you got to be at work at 9. And he's like, yeah, but I got to eat.
Yeah.
And like, I didn't care to be at work on time. I'm like, well, why are you in such a fucking hurry in your car then? And I was like close to intervention time. It's like, you keep wrecking these fucking cars.
Yeah.
You got it. And I told him, I said, what have you learned? What, like, seriously, Frank, what have you learned? And he goes, I need a performance vehicle.
No, I think what he says, I need performance tires if I'm going to be driving like that.
He's like, I need performance tires. That was his takeaway, was that, like, everything he was doing was fine. He just didn't have the right tires.
Dude, that rules.
Do you remember one time? So we're on the Frank tangent. I'm sorry. We're going to keep going.
This is great.
I was hanging out at my apartment. It was like a Friday or Saturday night. Yeah, it was a Friday or Saturday night. It was late. It was like 11 p.m. or midnight. And my phone rang. And it was Frank. And he's like, hey, I need a favor. He said, I wrecked my car. And I need you to come pick me up. I was like, okay, where are you? League City.
What the fuck is
South
League
of
City?
Houston.
What?
Yeah, and I'm like, okay. So I get in my car like at 11 p.m. or midnight, and I drive down to League. It's like a 3-hour drive. I get there like at 1 or 2 in the morning, and Frank's there with his fucked up car. Oh no, I pick up Frank, and then he's like, hey, we need to stop by my car so I can get some stuff.
There's a pattern here.
We go to his car. His car is just totally fucked up. Like help him get whatever shit he needs out of his car, and then we have to drive back to Austin. And that motherfucker falls asleep on the drive back.
Pull over and kick him out. Kick him out.
I got back home like at 5 or 6, and it was like dawn. I'd been driving to and from League City all night.
Do you remember? I was actually having a conversation / argument with Emily over the weekend about I don't like living spaces. I think that store's gross, and she wants to go there a lot. And I'm like, I'm not gonna. It's like it's a weird thing I have. I get it. She's like, you're so weird about this one thing. You don't care about anything else, but you don't want to. I'm weird about furniture, right? And do you remember we used to go to Houston so much back in the day? But one of the main reasons we used to go to Houston back in the day was because that was where the IKEA was.
Yeah.
So we would all get together on the weekend, and I had a truck for a little while.
Yeah.
And we'd have big IKEA trips. We'd drive down to Houston 3.5 hours to go shop at IKEA all day.
It was only like the IKEA
2.5
was on the
hours,
west side
about 2.5
of
hours.
Houston.
Yeah,
it wasn't that bad.
It was by the Gateway.
Oh, the west side.
And because there was nowhere else for 25-year-olds to buy furniture that they could afford in Austin, because there was no IKEA, right? It was the only affordable place. And it used to be, we would get so excited, and we would spend all day, and we would eat. It was like a...
It's a 2-level IKEA.
Yeah. And it was so fucking cool to us to get to drive down and buy, like, I don't know, reasonably cool furniture that you could afford.
My car broke down there. That's a story for another time.
Well, I was going to say, this reminds me of a certain trip you and I and, once again, my first ex-wife took to Houston to visit our friend John. And we'll tell this story some other time.
That's another story.
You got drunk.
Me?
You got argumentatively drunk.
You did too.
You locked yourself in a bedroom.
We had to pull over so you get out and vomit.
That's true. That's true. But I didn't lock myself in a bedroom and refused to come out and weird out all the other people at the party. We also, do you remember the bad thing we did there?
Yes.
We got drunk.
Yes.
Oh, we did a bad thing.
We had to save it.
We did a bad thing that
We did
night.
bad thing.
Yeah.
I'm not my proudest moment.
No.
By far.
No, not at all.
All right.
Yeah, it's
I
probably
think
a
Eric's
good
been
place
trying to
to
wrap up forever.
No, this is fine. You want to get on these tangents. You want to get tangential with this show because all of a sudden it's like, here's 4 Frank stories, and they are the craziest thing I've ever heard.
Well, it's a template. I'm sure you figured it out by now.
I will say, the first time I heard it, I went, wow, that's crazy. And then the second time I heard it, I went, oh, that sounds familiar. Wow.
One time, Frank. One time, Saturday night, 4 a.m, my doorbell rings. I get up, I go to my doorbell. It's Frank in full drag.
What?
Like in a dress and makeup and everything. I don't know why. And he goes, "Hey man, can I get a ride home?" And I go, "Yeah, what do you got going on here? What are you all dressed up for?" And I don't even remember why. He was like, I was just doing a thing. And I was like, okay.
All right, whatever. Yeah.
And I'm like, how did you get here? And I don't remember, but he somehow got to my house at 4 a.m. to get a ride home. I don't know how he got to my house. Let alone, but that was a very Frank thing. You just you would go to bed and you'd be like, maybe tonight's the night I get the doorbell rings at 4 a.m.
Yeah, maybe the Tooth Fairy will visit you. Maybe it'll be Frank.
Maybe I'll have to go to Houston.
You never know.
I think it's always great to have friends like that.
Yeah,
where
keeping it interesting.
Yeah, where it is just an X factor of
Yeah.
Hey, I'm in rehab. Can you break me out? And you go, yeah. Or, hey, do you want to go get breakfast? I'll definitely be late for work.
Hey, I can't. There's a different story, different day. Probably shouldn't. A little darker, but be like, hey, man, I gotta go to work today. Can you come breathe in my car?
That was not him. That was someone else.
That was not Frank. That was someone else.
Oh, wow. This is exciting.
Hey, can you write? If I come over to your house and I give you a piece of paper, can you sign it saying that I haven't drank? And you're like, yeah, sure, I can do that for you, sure. And they come over and they go, okay, can you do it in this? Here's 9 pens in different colors. Can you sign all these dates in different colors so it looks like? And can you try to vary your signature a little bit?
Oh my
also
God.
Also a different person, not
also
Frank.
a different person.
I want to be very clear about that. I was driving around the other day. And I was down I don't remember why I was down there, but I was down like in the South Austin area. And I drove by where, I don't know if you remember, Geoff, like way down off of 35, south of Ben White, east of 35. There used to be like a Walmart and Sam's Club over there.
Yeah, on the hill.
Yeah,
right off
like,
the interstate.
Up on the hill, like just
it's
east of 35.
It's between Stasny and Ben White.
Yeah. And I was thinking about how a long time ago, we looked at that building. Like after it stopped being a Walmart and Sam's Club, we looked at that building and thought about moving in there as like a studio space. Do you remember when we toured like that empty Walmart / Sam's Club? And we were like, yeah, we can make this work. We're like, we could rent an old Walmart and make a studio out of it.
Yeah, I do. I feel like that was a period of time when we toured every warehouse in the city of Austin.
Dude, there was, you remember like that condemned building on South Congress just north of Ben White that was like next to a bar. What was it? It was next to like G&M's.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, we toured, it looked like a set out of a movie where there's like a bunch of homeless people doing drugs. And we looked at that building and we were like, yes, we could fix this. We could move our offices here. Like we were desperate. We were looking at every building that had free space in the city of Austin trying to find a place to move our studio to.
Eric, it was so bad. It was so bad that we literally went upstairs and there was a homeless camp in the upstairs.
Yeah.
There were like dudes in sleeping bags looking at us like, what the fuck are you doing in my bedroom?
Yeah, we may have to evict you, sir. Sorry.
There's something there now. I drove by that the other day too. It's where
that building's gone.
There's like a smoke shop or something next to it, I think. The building's gone. They built something new there.
Yeah, they tore it down. It was downside. Like is D&Jim's even still there? You and I went there once to D&Jim's like 25 years ago.
I don't think it is.
D&Jim's was like this little dive bar. And there was back when Geoff and I wanted to go to every bar in the city of Austin.
Yeah.
And it was like, we drove by D&Jim's forever, like way down South Congress, just north of Ben White, and we were like, oh, this looks like a little hole in the wall. Let's go in here. So we parked and walked in, and it was one of those places that the bartender had an ice chest behind the bar filled with cans of beer, and one of the walls was filled with koozies that had the names of the regulars in marker written on them. So we walked in. They didn't know who we were. We didn't have a koozie, and they were like, what the fuck do you want? We're like, Lone Star. You know, we just sat there very quietly, drank our one beer, and left. And we were like, yeah, we were not welcome there. Like, we did not have a koozie. This was not a place for us.
Sorry, I just did some searching, and I found a video posted on January 1st, 2008 that is D&Jim's Bar on South Congress in Austin, Texas. And it is exactly what you're describing, shot on what looks like an iPhone 2. Like, man, this is... Holy shit. You found this place is nuts.
It is rare that Gus will present a memory that I will line up with like exactly 100%. But that you nailed it, dude.
Mm-hmm.
You nailed it. I remember thinking like, what do we got to do to get a koozie? And then looking around the place and realizing we never will.
No,
It's just, and it was one. There are some every once in a while you walk in. It was kind of like it's kind of like when Pee Wee walks into the biker bar in Pee-wee's Big Adventure and the record scratches and everybody turns around. You know, it was definitely that kind of moment, and it was one of those ones that goes from unfriendly, and you can see it slowly ratcheting to hostile, and you try to like find the exit in somewhere in between there while still drinking your beer.
Yeah, it was not a place we ever returned to. I don't know if that place is even still there anymore. But yeah, it was interesting. It was one of the more interesting places we went to. That place and GNS Lounge. GNS Lounge was not hostile, but we had...
It was for other people.
It was for other people. We saw like some crazy movie type stuff at GNS Lounge. GNS Lounge is on South First, like close to Old Torf, just south of Old Torf. And real hole in the wall. There's like a liquor store next to GNS Lounge, right? Or what is that? Or is it there's a like if you're looking at it from the front, there's like a pawn shop to the right now, but to the left, was it a liquor store?
It used to be Buenos Aires Cafe, but they moved over to East 6th Street. Because back when I was on an empanada kick for a few years, and I would always go to that Buenos Aires.
Yeah.
Eric, he's not kidding. It was a fucking awesome place to drink. It's a super great cool. Kind of fun dive bar. And the dude that owned it was really cool and was really friendly. And there was like an old pool table, and it was good vibes inside. But one night, Gus and I walked out. I think you were there. I think it was you and I.
Yeah, it was you and me.
walked out, and there was a dude with a monkey wrench in his hand, like threatening another guy. Like he was going to beat him to death with a giant rusty monkey wrench. And the other guy goes, "Motherfucker, I'll be right back." And he walks over to his, not in a hurry, like he's afraid the guy's going to hit him in the back of the head, opens up his trunk of like a Ford LTD, and he pulls out a giant metal chain that he starts swinging around his fucking head, and they were about to get it on. Neither person was backing down. It was happening, and Gus and I got the fuck out of Dodge.
We just like looked at each other and made like a beeline for our car. We got to get out of here. We do not, because we talked about before, we'd been in hairy situations at the back room, and it was like, this is like a riot escalation type thing. We just got to get out of here.
You don't want to catch any shrapnel in that situation.
Yeah. But it was great. But I think GNS Lounge is actually still there.
It is.
I think it is.
I just looked it up. Like, when people talk about old Austin, like, oh, what Austin is, what Austin used to be, this is my Austin. It's all south of the river. Of like that's how it feels to me. It feels like everything north of the river is like, oh, this is like North Austin. And it's like, this is downtown. But like when people talk about like, yeah, this place is crazy, this place is weird, it's like the little, 6-8 block area of downtown, and then everything south. It feels like everything like east, west, and north are like null. It's all that, like, you're talking about this GNS Lounge and like all this other stuff. It's all south, like all of it.
We can give you some norths if you want.
Well, specifically, like this is something we touched on in the episode we recorded at Batch, where like the east side was really not, people really didn't go there for a long time. It's only fairly recently with gentrification that you start to see like a lot of stuff popping up there. I feel like it really wasn't, there wasn't much to it back then. I mean, well, not much that people went to. There was, we hung out definitely on the east side. I don't know. We used to hang out with people over on the east side who would like brew their own beer up over off of like Cesar Chavez and Springdale.
Yeah, when we were hanging on the east side like that, this is before the days of like Rio Rita and Liberty and Shangri-La and like the coolification of the east side.
Yeah.
Although we hung out there as well too. But yeah.
But yeah, I think also back then, early on when Geoff and I both first moved here, we lived south of the river. We lived off of Riverside, which is a crazy part of Austin to me because, normally when you go to a city, like waterfront property is super expensive. It's like really built out condos and rich people living there. But you remember the damp apartment I lived in? I think we talked about this briefly before. But it's like I lived in that damp apartment where it's like you walked out from the apartment complex and crossed the street and you were on the water. Like it's the Oracle headquarters now. It's like like Oracle built their headquarters down there. But it's like for the long time, it's like I lived there because it was the cheapest apartment I could find in Austin, and it was right on the river. That's just the way it was.
Yeah, some of the shittiest apartments in Austin were on Lady Bird Lake or Town Lake back then, right there east of Riverside for sure. That is weird. It was wild, and it's still like. Yeah. Yeah,
and then even like west of 35, like out by what used to be the Joe's Crab Shack and all that shit. Like there used to be all those really rundown apartments just west of there, but they bulldozed all of those and they like rebuilt them as like luxury, quote unquote, luxury apartments now. All that's really, really different as well. We used to go over there. Remember, you were going to go there. That was going to be your next story, wasn't it? We knew someone.
Go right ahead.
We knew someone over there who lived over in those apartments that got bulldozed, like west of. I don't know. It's like Cidercade now, right? Is what it is. That used to be like a Joe's Crab Shack, and I don't remember. It used to be some other shit before that.
It was a Landry's. It was a Landry's Seafood before it was Joe's.
That's right. Over there, there's like those apartments, and before, back when they were shittier. We knew someone who lived over there. And for a while, when Geoff and I worked at the call center, we tried to like supplement our income by like doing IT work on the side. Just like whatever, like if we knew people who needed help, like setting up a small network or, fixing computers or whatever, like, we'd show up and we'd help people out, charge them a little bit of money. It's an easy way to like get a little extra spending cash. It was never like a formal business or anything. It was just like friends of friends and stuff like that.
And we got stiffed most of the time and didn't get paid.
Yes, and specifically with the person we knew over there by that cidercade now, like paid us once and then never paid us again. She had a small business. What was that business that she did? I don't remember what the business she did was.
I mean, I can say it. It's what it was called.
Oh, that's right. That's what it was. They're not around anymore, I don't think. But yeah, we used to help them with tons of IT stuff. So she lived over there. We helped her with some of her personal computer stuff, but her business was over like just east of 35 off of like between 6th and 7th Street. There's like that little brick office complex there, just east of 35.
Another building that we toured and came very close to moving into, actually.
Yeah, it was a little small for what we needed. But her main office was over there, and we used to go and do all kinds of stuff, set up computers and all kinds of things. And yeah, she fucking stiffed us. She owed us like $600. She never paid us, which is a lot of money.
I remember her name.
I know her name too.
I won't say that, but yeah. But yeah, she had an apartment over there, I remember, and she to her credit, back when it was next to impossible, she got a virus on a Mac, and that was a fucking problem for Gus and I to fix. I remember that.
Dude, that was tough. Do you remember also like we had to help. She wanted like a CD burner and set up in one of her computers at her office. And
Todd Rundgren's greatest hits, baby.
This was back when it's like CD burners were really expensive, and we had to get like the SCSI CD burner and set it up and get it all. So we bought like a brand new CD burner, set it up in her computer, and like when we plugged it in and booted the computer up, there was already a CD in this supposed quote unquote brand new CD burner we had just bought, and it was a burned copy of Todd Rundgren's greatest hits. That was in this brand new CD burner
that we bought on Newegg, by the way. That's where we got it from. I remember that. And it came with a free Todd Rundgren greatest hits burn. Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird because like that's back when like the CD burner was a SCSI device. Remember that? We had to like make sure there was like a SCSI controller and plug all that shit in. Now it's like, first of all, who fucking needs a CD burner? Who fucking needs an optical drive? Second of all, yeah, that's all much easier to do, much quicker to do nowadays.
Thirdly, who the fuck likes Todd Rundgren?
Yeah,
Hello, It's Me is a okay song.
Dude, I don't know if I could name 3 Todd Rundgren songs.
Dang.
I certainly was amazed to find out he had greatest hits, not just hits. Or hits even.
Todd Rundgren, hit.
What do you mean? Didn't he have Bang on the Drum All Day? Remember that one?
Was that him?
He doesn't want to work. He just wants to bang on the drum all day.
That was Todd Rundgren?
I'm pretty sure that's Todd Rundgren.
See, I don't even
kept that CD.
I don't even know.
Yeah, you could have been listening to Todd Rundgren right now.
We never even listened to the CD. We threw it away.
We just tossed it. Like, what the fuck is this?
It could have been your weekend anthem.
Another thing that we did in that period that has been referenced 1,000 times through the history of Rooster Teeth and content is we were setting up a network at that place that one day. There was a scale, and Gus and I weighed our fists. And my fist weighs 2 pounds, and Gus's fist weighs 1 pound, and fuck Gus.
You were pushing down on that scale.
I got double the fist weight, dude.
I don't even know how you do that. How do you weigh just your... That's what I contend to this day. Like, you were pushing down on that. The only way to weigh it is to cut your hand off. Cut your hand off and put it on the scale. That's the only way you know for sure.
Sure, okay.
Yeah, we had a lot of time. I think we were waiting for something to download. We're like, oh, look, there's a postal scale. Let's weigh our fists. I don't know. We were bored. I still see her name come up every now and then in the news. That woman, she owes us money.
Still around?
We ran into her at an E3 at one point. Oh! Do you remember that? When Rooster Teeth was happening, we ran into her. She was working PR for a video game company. And we were like, yo!
You're right. And with interest, that's got to be like $630 at this point.
It's a lot of money.
It's been 20 years.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch. You know what? We'll just consider the debt paid. It's fine.
It's a write-off. It's been more than 7 years.
We've had the story. The story's we've made more than $600 off the story, I'm sure, at this point.
We're telling the story for the first time right now. We haven't made any money off of it.
Oh, no. I'm sure we've told this story before, haven't we?
I don't think so.
Well, maybe not. But the audience will let us know who's right.
This is ANMA. This is all new material all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. All new, absolutely unheard stuff from here. Weighing your fists, never talked about. Got it.
You were speaking about how there's no weird stuff up north, Eric. Mm-hmm. There really is a lot. I think like to Gus's point, we were just poor and lived down south. But have you ever been to Carousel Lounge?
Is that the place that's like Christmas all the time or something?
No, that's Lala's. Also a weird place. Carousel Lounge is actually kind of close to Rooster Teeth.
I've never been, but I've driven by it a million times. I've just never gone in.
It's like right off of Cameron, just north of 51st.
Yeah.
One of my favorite dive bars in Austin. You go inside and the entire thing is painted and set up to look like a big top. So it's like all carnival themed. There's actually, I don't think it works, but there's a little carousel in it inside. And it's a setup bar, so it's only beer and wine, and you can bring in liquor and then they'll like pour it for you. But it is, from my estimation, only populated with like 80-year-old dudes talking about college basketball and bitching about March Madness. 365 days a year somehow. It's a fantastic place.
Worth my time?
I like it.
Yeah.
I liked it back when I drank. There's also a place used to be called Poodle Dog Lounge.
I was going to segue right to that.
Jason Saldana, who played Tucker on Red vs. Blue and who's come up a couple times on this probably already, and who will probably be one of the first guests we ever have. He's got a great story that I'll steal right now, where he, I think it's called the Aristocat, right?
It's the Aristocrat Lounge now. Yeah, it used to be the Poodle Dog.
It's been changed. But he said he went in there, I think it was all on the same day. He went there one time to meet a friend, and it was 3 p.m, and there was an old dude, like some haggard old dude and some haggard old lady, literally fucking in the bed of a pickup truck in front of it in broad daylight. And then he walked in to meet his friend, got like a beer, and they're talking. They decide to play pool. His friend goes to rack up the pool table, and he picks up one of the pool balls, and it's covered in blood. Like it's been used violently. And he just takes it over to the bartender and goes, and the bartender listens and goes, oh yeah, let me get you a fresh one. And just takes it behind the counter and just gives him another pool ball. It's that kind of place. It was that kind of place. I don't know that it is anymore.
Fuck.
It's actually a cool place. It's really, really cool on the inside. We used it as a bar in the series Crunch Time that Rooster Teeth released. Yeah. Like at the very beginning of Crunch Time, I play a bartender in that bar. And so if you've ever watched Crunch Time, it's like the bar at the very beginning of that series.
The other bar you mentioned is kind of up north by I guess by Burnett, like Burnett and Anderson area, called Lala's, and it's kind of a kitschy thing where you go in and it's Christmas year round there. They have it all set up as Christmas. They have like they have like shit I used to do like when I was in grade school with Star Wars figures and fishing wire, where they have a thing where if you like open the front door, a bunch of ornaments come down and they go back up because they've got like this little wire system set up when you go to the bathroom and stuff. But I don't know how true this is, but the urban legend has always been that it is designed like Christmas like that because it was just a regular bar. And then it was owned by a husband and wife. And sometime in the late 70s on Christmas Eve, the husband got into a car accident and died. And the wife continued on with the bar and just decided to make it Christmas 365 days a year. So she left it as it was when he died. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what's always been explained to me.
I like it. It's a good story. Good origin story. Not like a good story that someone died. I mean, that's terrible. I just want to be on the record about that.
Nobody thought that's what you meant.
No, I just want to make sure.
What a great story.
Like it's always Christmas there as like a love letter to the original owner who died.
You know, you're talking about all these like small dive bars, and we would be remiss not to mention Little Longhorn on that list.
Another North Austin bar. Yeah.
Yeah, and before I talk about Little Longhorn, I'm going to do an aside here to Geoff. I saw a TV commercial for Little Longhorn last night.
Really?
Yeah. They were like,
do they refer to it as Little Longhorn or Ginny's or?
No, it's Little Longhorn. Ginny passed away like last year.
Oh no.
Yeah. So it's not Ginny's Little Longhorn anymore. Well, maybe it is. They refer to it as Little Longhorn.
Okay.
They were promoting that they have live music on Tuesdays or something. But in the whole commercial, they never say where Little Longhorn is. That's what I was like, yeah. I was like, you have this commercial where you keep emphasizing this band I've never heard of and the members of the band and the name of the bar, but you never say, hey, it's on Burnett. You know? Anyway, Ginny's Little Longhorn, it's been there forever. It's on Burnett, south of Anderson, kind of by Houston Street, a little north of North Loop, I guess.
Yeah.
Their claim to fame is on Sunday. I think it's on, I don't know, one day of the week, maybe it's Mondays. One day of the week, I can't remember now.
It's Sundays. It's Sunday nights.
But they can't be open on Sunday.
I think they can.
Why can't they be open on Sunday?
No, you're right. It's like Texas has weird liquor laws. I'm just trying to remember.
They do, but I think it might be.
Not like
it might be a beer and wine bar anyway. I don't remember if I ever drank liquor there.
But their claim to fame was they had chicken shit bingo.
Yeah,
which they still do. Where one day of the week, maybe it's Sunday night, maybe whatever. They put a big piece of plywood over the pool table, and the plywood has grid. It's like broken down. It's painted into grids. And everyone bets money on to pick a grid coordinate. And then they put a chicken in a giant cage on top of the plywood. And whatever grid coordinate it shits in first, they win.
Yep.
So whoever put money on that grid coordinate wins the pot, basically.
I'm surprised that's not a bigger deal. Like, the more people don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, Little Longhorn's the only place I know that does it. But, I mean, that place is... We went there before. I feel like that is a similar vibe to D and Jim's in that, like, it's like regulars, very basic, gonna drink beer out of a can. I mean, they have bottles, actually, at Little Longhorn. But it's not hostile. I'd never got that hostile feeling like I did at D and Jim's. Little Longhorn was always just like, whatever, show up and... It would be the place that Pee Wee Herman would walk into and the record would not scratch. I used to say that stretch of Burnett and North Loop, we mentioned this in the Epoch episode, there's also a stretch of North Loop that feel like they retained that old Austin charm and feel. But I feel like that section of Burnett is going through transformation currently, and it's losing a lot of that old character and has new character coming in.
Yeah, it's definitely amidst the change. The thing that's happening up there is that, like, an old business will get bought out or lease run out, and then they'll just bulldoze the whole block and build like a 5-6 story condo. And it's pretty, I would say, like, within 15 years, Burnett's just going to be a road of like tall buildings,
Yeah.
But you are definitely right, Eric. If you wanted to come to Austin like tomorrow for the first time ever, and you wanted to experience Austin in the way it was when Gus and I discovered it in the 90s, or, before, your best bet is going to be North Loop and Burnett in that area, for sure.
Yeah. As long as we're on this North Austin kick, this isn't a dive bar necessarily, but I don't think I've ever talked about this on any podcast we've done before. I want to explain why I have beef with P. Terry's.
Here it comes.
P. Terry's is a local burger place here in Austin. And I guess they started in Austin. That's like regional now. They're in San Antonio and Houston and whatever. Like they spread out. The first P. Terry's was... I had beef from them from the start. Okay, so... The first P. Terry's started as a drive-through down off of like Lamar and Barton Springs. It's still like a little drive-through down there. And there used to be a snow cone stand in that parking lot called Snow Beach that I really liked and I would always go to. And when P. Terry's got popular, they booted Snow Beach out of there. So Snow Beach had to move. And I was like, these motherfuckers. I was like, fine, whatever. So then, I would go to the Snow Beach. There used to be a Snow Beach over like at 34th and Guadalupe in the parking lot of a pawn shop. But the pawn shop closed and that Snow Beach is gone too. I think the only Snow Beach, is there still a Snow Beach on Barton Springs? But I wouldn't go down there.
No, there was a Snow Beach. They put it in after, this is so dumb, but after the Snow Beach got shuttered because of fucking P. Terry's, they moved to where the filling station used to be on Barton Springs. That building got bulldozed and it was just a parking lot, and the Snow Beach was there for a while. Then it moved further down Barton Springs and it was across the street, but like one block north of Shady Grove.
Yes.
Kind of like right over there. And it might still be there. I don't know.
If it's there, that's the last one. Because they had one over at the Fiesta at 38th and 35, but then that one closed and they renamed it Snow Bunny. They just put like bunny ears on top of the snow cone.
Yeah.
And then there was the one over at the pawn shop, but then that one closed. Anyway, Snow Beach was always my favorite snow cone place in Austin because they shaved the ice really smooth. It wasn't like that chunky snow cone that you get typically. It was a very smooth shaved ice. Anyway, I was mad at P. Terry's because they booted Snow Beach out from that location that I used to go to all the time. The burger's fine. I have their burger. If anything, their burger's a little too small for me. That's my big complaint about P. Terry's. But I was willing to forgive him because I was able to get my Snow Beach elsewhere.
He was willing to forgive them.
This is bringing up so many memories. I don't want to interrupt Gus, but I've got some asides here that are fucking
go ahead.
hilarious.
This is a long story, Geoff. I have grievances.
He's not kidding about. I if anything, I almost feel like he's underselling the Snow Beach craze of the late 90s, early 2000s.
It was the best.
I guess early 2000s. It was a phenomenon. Snow Beach opened up, and then within like 4 months, there were like 20 different Snow Beach ripoffs around Austin. It was like Austin trailer culture before the trailer thing happened. And we were going to Snow Beach 2 or 3 times a week, every week. Like we were fucking into it. The thing I was laughing about was, not too late into this, a place called Bananarchy opened up.
Oh, God.
And Brandon Farmahini used to work at Rooster Teeth with us, was obsessed with Bananarchy. And I remember he and Gus would get into heated fucking battles over snow cones versus Bananarchy.
Bananarchy's so overrated.
It's a frozen banana covered in chocolate.
Right.
Who gives a fuck?
Who cares?
But it made me laugh to think about, like, I've heard you fight this battle before against a certain banana loving man.
Yeah, and what's funny to me is I feel like Snow Beach resulted in a mini proliferation of snow cone stands around Austin, which is weird because I feel like
sure
Casey's predates Snow Beach. But
Yeah.
Casey's has always only had that one location, like at Airport and 51st Street. Casey's is great too, but Snow Beach, for some reason, it hit, and they built these, or they had these trailers all over the place. Maybe it was more convenient.
It's easier. That was easier to get to too. Casey's
Yeah.
is kind of hard. It's kind of situated in a weird way that it's hard to drive up to.
Yeah. Anyway, P. Terry's, their burgers are fine. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with their burgers. I think their burgers are maybe a little too small. But my favorite burger in town, Geoff, I think you introduced me to this place, and it has been my favorite forever, has been Hilbert's.
Mm-hmm.
There's still a Hilbert's close to our studio off of Cameron. Really, really love Hilbert's. It's like, they have, like, the Hilbert's has been around since the late 70s, I think. And if you eat at Hilbert's, they've got like little, like our story things that like they put on the tables inside the restaurant. It's like their goal when they started was they wanted to evoke that feeling of like going to your childhood friend's house and his dad's out on the grill, flipping burgers, and you feel like that's like the greatest burger, like being a young kid and hanging out and just having a burger in someone's backyard. That's always like the feel they've tried to evoke with their burgers, and I think they're excellent. I think they're really good. Mighty Fine's also really good. I would put Mighty Fine and Hilbert's like neck and neck for best like conventional burger.
Different kind of burgers,
but still at their core very basic. I don't like complicated burgers. I don't like like Hop Dottie. I think overcomplicates burgers in my opinion. But anyway, the Hilbert's I used to like to go to all the time was at Lamar, like kind of by like Lamar and 30th or so.
Yeah.
And that's the place I first went to Hilbert's, and I would always go there. It was like this rundown old building. There was like a tiny dining room out front. That's where I first had like Frank's Red Hot sauce. They would put it out there because they serve wings too. I'd be like, oh, I'll get a little Frank's Red Hot on my burger.
One of the charming things about it is it was 20 degrees hotter inside than it was outside 365 days a year. It could be a positive or a negative depending on the time of the year you went there. And everything inside was sticky with 100 years of grease. Like you didn't necessarily want to sit down, but it was so much ambiance.
I talk about how I like the audio texture of this podcast. This place had like physical texture, like you could feel like the years of like love and of toiling and hard work that had gone into in this place. You know what's there now? They bulldozed that Hilbert's. You know what's there now, Eric? There's a fucking P. Terry's there now.
They bulldozed it to
bulldozed
build
it.
the second
That was their
P. Terry's.
second location for P. Terry's. They fucking got rid of Snow Beach. I was willing to forgive them. Then they got rid of my favorite burger place in town. They bulldozed the fucking Hilbert's and built a P. Terry's there. Hilbert's had to move a little west. They moved over like west of Lamar. There's like that little shopping complex by the Randalls over there. It was like an old Taco Bell that they were in for a while, but they had to leave that, and now they're at a different old Taco Bell off of Cameron, close to Rooster Teeth, close to our studio. So Hilbert's at least still around, but my favorite Hilbert's location got bulldozed to make a fucking P. Terry's.
He's once again, he's not overselling it. It was a magical place. Like not to engage in hyperbole, but it was my very favorite place in Austin when it was there. It was like walking in. You walked into that place and you were walking into 1945, you were walking into 1970, you were walking into 1985, and you were walking into 2001 all at the same time. And it was like time sandwiched together. It was really fucking awesome.
And you got a great burger.
And you got a great burger. And mediocre service in a really charming way.
Hilbert's is interesting because they named it that as an homage to other Austin businesses. Hilbert's is named that because they named it after Hill's Cafe and Bert's Barbecue. Hilbert's is an amalgamation of two other restaurants. They just took two restaurants that they liked, mashed the names together, and it's like, oh, Hilbert's Hamburgers.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Can you just do that?
They did. They've been around for 50 years now.
Where was Bert's Barbecue? That's before my time.
Bert's Barbecue, you were actually here at the time, but Bert's Barbecue used to be over by the university off of MLK, like at the southwest corner of the university. You know how there's that fire station across from, well, it used to be a Taco Cabana. I don't know what it is now, like off of MLK?
Yeah.
Like on the north side, there's condos and shit there now. There used to be a Bert's Barbecue. That's where Bert's Barbecue used to be. It burned down like 10, 15 years ago now.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like I read in the news recently that they reopened. Like, I think they opened a new location like in the last couple months. They may be back, but it's a place that was gone for a long time.
I would put Hill's Cafe right at the top of the list of historic Austin restaurants that I couldn't care less about.
Yeah, same. It's like Threadgill's to me.
Oh, thank God.
So fucking mediocre.
I thought you were going to be like, this is like, what a place.
No.
This is it. Okay, good. Okay.
Hill's Cafe, Art's Rib House, fucking Jaime
Arts.
Spanish Village.
Is Art still around?
No, it's been gone for years. That's what I'm saying. Places that are gone. The
Yeah.
building is still there. Hill's building is still there. The sign's still there.
I haven't thought about Arts in 15 years, maybe. Yeah.
Brad Gill's so overrated.
So Hills, I mean, like, I wouldn't say there's anything wrong necessarily with the food at Hills Cafe, right? It's just like, it's a chicken fried steak. It's fine. It's nothing fancy, you know? But it's maybe under-seasoned. That was always my problem with Threadgill's. I felt Threadgill's food was always under-seasoned. And maybe it's the same way at Hills. I don't know. Maybe that's just like that style of cooking. It's not my cup of tea. I used to go there every now and then, Hills Cafe. For some reason, when I worked, before Rooster Teeth, when I worked at that other company downtown, we would just drive down Congress and go to Hills Cafe every now and then. I don't know why we ever did that.
How are you with Hoover's then? The same kind of food.
You know how I love Hoover's. You all made fun of me when we went to Thunderbird.
So you do like Hoover's, but you do like Southern cooking. You just
Hoover's actually knows how to use spice and flavor.
Yeah, Hoover's fun. It makes me sick to my tummy.
Hoover's is fine. It makes me sick. Awesome.
This is heavy food.
Hoover's is good. And I don't know, I feel like it's a different approach compared to like Hills Cafe or Threadgill's, where they didn't season anything. They probably never heard of salt at those places.
Do you remember when Hoover's, for a very brief time, had a wing trailer in front of it, across the street from it? Like
I forgot about that.
Cafe is kind of like that. Yeah, I ate the shit out of those wings, and that place only lasted like 6 months max.
Do you remember right in that area, a little east of there, that food trailer Tenderland?
Yeah.
Tenderland was so good. That place has probably been gone 12, 14 years now. I think that place went away like 09, 2010. And they went away and they're like, don't worry, we're just moving. We'll be back. And they never came back.
Do you remember what was there before that? Was also fucking great.
What was there before Tenderland?
Man Bites Dog.
Oh, right. Then they moved over to the brick and mortar and then they went away.
And then they became I think the brick and mortar turned into Philly that Philly cheesesteak place. What was it called?
Way South Philly Deli.
Way South Philly, and it's gone now.
That's gone too now.
Yeah.
That just closed fairly recently. But Tenderland was you could buy, all they sold was pork tenderloin sandwiches, but they would take the tenderloin and they would hammer it out so that it was like bigger than your face. Yeah, it was huge. Yeah, like the sandwich, the bun part looked ridiculously tiny. It looked like a tiny hat on a giant head, and the tenderloin itself was fucking massive. And it was so good. I guess it's like something they do in Iowa or someplace. Like it was. I think the owners were from Iowa or something. It's like a kind of food that's really popular up there, and they would sell it, from the trailer here for a while. And I loved going to that place. It was so awesome. I miss that place.
Hey, do me a favor. While we're talking about old restaurants and bars and shit, I was remembering this place the other day, and I wasn't anywhere near it, so I didn't drive over and check it out. But there used to be, I think it was a hot dog place, but maybe it's a hot dog place now, and it used to be a burger place over on the east side on Cesar Chavez, where we went through a period in Rooster Teeth history. It was when we were in the downtown office, where once a week, I want to say it was on Thursdays, we would have lunch with the audience. And anybody in the Austin area who was in the Rooster Teeth community, if they wanted to come have lunch with us, we were like, we'll be here at noon on Thursday. And like sometimes 2 people would show up, sometimes 30 people would show up. We didn't do it I think we did it for a summer. So we probably did it like 10 times. But I think we went to that place more and more often than anywhere else. And I can't remember the name of it. Was it Your Mom's Burgers?
Yes,
or
that's what it was.
Something else.
It was Your Mom's. That's what it was called. Yeah. That's totally what it was. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was over on these. That place was. I have thought about that place since we went there. Whenever that was back, 2008, 2007, maybe. Yeah, Your Mom's Burgers. They had like they would make a thing where they would give you a burger, but they would put the cheese inside the meat patty. So then when it cooked, it was like melty cheese all inside of the burger. It wasn't out spilling around. So it was like a pocket of like deliciousness. That place was good. That place was around for a couple of years.
I think they moved to Airport maybe for a while, and then eventually went under. Kind of over where like House Pizza was. I guess it was like Sala and Betty, like kind of that area. Oh, I just read Sala and Betty is closing.
Yeah,
bummer.
The owner's retiring. It's not like a
It's not a failure thing. The owner's just like Frank was a big part of Rooster Teeth too, especially when we lived downtown. It was kind of a popular where we worked downtown. It was a popular hot dog restaurant that was next to the original Alamo. That was actually a restaurant. I think it was called Starlight before it was. I always remember it because Gus had Gavin had a crush on the lady who worked there before it was Frank, and then it closed down and became Frank, and that lady wasn't there, and Gavin was really sad. But Frank was great because it was where divorced dads went with their kids on Saturday at 3 p.m. I know because Millie and I went there all the time at 3 p.m. on a Saturday because it was like our Saturday hot dog. And it was like, you'd look around and be like, just a bunch of dudes with their one kid, you know?
Frank was like Mega 64's favorite place when we come for like RTX. We would always go to Frank, and then it closed, and we did not know that it closed, and we just kept looking for it.
Yeah. They
We're like, it's right here. It was right here.
they had a bad habit of not paying their taxes.
Yeah, I think they tried to expand to, like, they opened up a place in San Antonio that didn't work out, and I think that hurt them. Yeah. I think for a while, even after Frank closed, the menu at Schultz's Beer Garden was Frank.
Oh, really?
Like, I think they were operating the kitchen, and so it was all like Frank stuff. I don't know if that might still be the case,
Dude,
but I know it was for a while.
How long has Schultz's Beer Garden been open?
100 years, maybe.
That place has been there forever. It's like over there, close to like Texas Chili
In the middle
Parlor.
of fucking nowhere. It's not even that close to Texas Chili Parlor. It's like 5 blocks.
Yeah, I just always associate it being like in that area. It's really weird that those businesses are out there. Like Texas Chili Parlor is another one of those places that's been there forever. And like that place shows up in movies and TV shows. And like it's just an iconic location.
Do you ever go there?
I haven't been there in years.
I probably still go there once a month.
Really? That place is fine. It was never like, it never was a big draw to me. It's fine. I got no beef with them. They didn't take my Hilberts away. So they're fine in my book.
It looks like, if I'm reading this properly, 1866 is when Schultz's Beer Garden opened. Yeah,
That's right.
Interesting thing about Schultz's Beer Garden, and I only know this because Emily knows somebody who like books there. Did you know that there's a bowling alley at Schultz Beer Garden?
No.
Yeah, so
They had bowling in 1866?
it didn't come till the 1900s.
Oh, okay.
It was added, but there's like you go into Schultz, there's it's like a restaurant, and then out back is the beer garden. And there's a lot of bands and shit that play there during South by. And then in kind of the back corner, there's like a little 2 or 3 story brick building that just looks like storage. Well, on the second floor of that building, it's a bowling alley, like a 2-lane bowling alley, and it's like
Interesting.
fully preserved as it looks like it did in like the 1960s, still fully functional. I think they rent it out for private events and stuff. We should definitely look into it someday.
Bowling brunch, first Sunday of the month from noon to 3.
There you go.
You make a reservation and you can do a bowling brunch at Schultz. That's crazy.
It's one of those things that you just don't know. But yeah.
I don't know why, but you talking about Schultz's Beer Garden made me think about the Green Mesquite. Yeah, it used to be a barbecue place over on Barton Springs Road. The barbecue was always very mediocre. It was never very good.
Is it gone?
Haven't they? I thought they closed forever ago. Are they still around?
No. It's still around.
Is
It's
it?
still there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Green Mesquite's still there.
Why? How?
That's a great question. I
Right
don't
there
know.
with you, buddy. Right there with you.
I remember once years ago, Jeff's already laughing. Once years ago, we were eating there. It was me, Jeff, I think your ex-wife was there, Frank, and I don't remember who else. There might have been other people there as well.
Frank joined later, by the way. He wasn't there the whole time. He just showed up and did this thing, which is, I think, why it was so much more offensive to you.
Oh, that's right. He wasn't there. We were there. Then he showed up, and like I said, I never really cared for the food there. But you could order a Shiner, a beer, and they would give you this giant frozen glass, and they'd pour your Shiner in it. So it was really cold, really frosty. It's I'm just gonna drink beer and hang out here. So I had a Shiner with me, and I was drinking this beer. Frank shows up, sits down. We were on picnic tables. I'm sitting on one of them with Jeff and his ex-wife. Frank plops himself down across from me, sits down, looks at my glass, and says, "What's that?" And I say, "Oh, it's a beer. It's a Shiner." And Frank really doesn't drink.
At all. He doesn't drink at all. Hates the taste of alcohol, hates the feeling of being drunk, doesn't want anything to do with beer or alcohol ever.
But I guess this beer looked so enticing and delicious that he raised his right pinky into the air, stuck his right pinky into my beer, took it out, and then sucked the beer off of his right pinky. And I remember just feeling heat rising in my body up to my head, anger and fury, and just looking at him going, "What the fuck did you just do?" And he goes, "Oh, that looked really good. I wanted to taste it." And I was like, "Why did you stick your fucking pinky in my drink?"
You know,
I made him buy me another one. I threw that drink away. I was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
You know in Men in Black, when they get mad at the dog Frank, and they're like, "Frank!" That's exactly what it sounded like. It's like Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones yelling at the dog.
I'm kind of a germaphobe. I'll admit it. I'm kind of a fastidious person.
Kind of?
To watch Frank come in off the street and stick his dirty ass pinky into my drink, into my beer, and just lick it off of his pinky. I was not having that. I was furious. I was so mad.
Yeah, that was one of the I will never forget that day because it was one of the fastest like incitements to fury I've ever seen from you. It was pretty fascinating to behold.
Just instantly ruined my day.
He wasn't there for 45 seconds before you were screaming at him. It was like so fast.
Oh man, that's like the most. That might be the only memory I have of the Green Mesquite. Like the only like concrete.
Yeah.
This thing happened at the Green Mesquite. Just I haven't eaten there in probably 20 years. It's been. I'm shocked to find out it's still open.
I'll say this: they got pretty decent pecan pie, Alamo, and there's a level of barbecue in Austin that's like Green Mesquite, Ironworks, places like that are all about the same. It's like if you had it, you're like, it was fine. I don't get why everybody fucking goes nuts about Austin barbecue.
I think we're just very spoiled because there is such a big barbecue culture, especially like if you like Austin barbecue's fine. Well, aside Franklin, of course, everyone goes nuts about Franklin. Micklethwaite's great, but like the big center of like brisket barbecue culture is like southeast of Austin, out in Lockhart, where you got places like Kreitz's, Smitty's, Black's Barbecue. Black's
is overrated, but
Black's. That's why I mentioned them last. I think Kreitz's and Smitty's are just like head and shoulders above everything else. You know, I've been taking piloting lessons for a while, and when I was like learning how to practice, I would do a lot of landings over at Lockhart. And in the Lockhart Airport, they've got a sign right next to the runway that says "Barbecue Capital of the World." It's just like "Welcome to Lockhart 50R," which is their airport code. And it says "Barbecue Capital of the World."
Have you been to that place up north? What the fuck is it called? Is it called Satellite?
Satellite? No.
Up northwest. Kind of like 620 area.
Oh, I've heard of this place, Intergalactic or Galaxy.
Intergalactic Galaxy Barbecue or something. Texas Monthly just released their list of best barbecue restaurants in the state, of which Austin kind of got hammered. We only got a few, and Lockhart didn't have any at all anymore. Well, the point was they're saying like the level has been raised so quickly across the state that they're not doing anything to innovate in Lockhart, and of course they're not going to because
they don't need to.
They just make fucking good ass barbecue.
Yeah.
Interstellar. That place was listed as the second best barbecue restaurant in Texas, I believe.
That's my second favorite Christopher Nolan movie too.
So I've never seen either Interstellar or eaten at the barbecue place.
Oh, it's a great movie.
Maybe we should have an Interstellar party.
Yeah,
I've been meaning to check it out because supposedly it's phenomenal.
Yeah, I think I saw it on that same list you did. I've never been out there. Let's be honest, that's kind of a haul. That's kind of far.
Yeah, it's up there.
From here.
I do want to, because he's not here to defend himself, and the spirit of this podcast is still supposed to be kind of rooted in the past of Rooster Teeth and our friendship. I'd like to talk about, have we discussed yet Secret Gus?
Secret Gus?
Have we talked about Secret Gus yet on this podcast? Okay. Well, Podcast Gus isn't here. Oh, I don't know if we mentioned this yet at the outset, but going to be way more visual texture or audio texture than we've had visual. Way more audio texture than we've had in a while.
We're at Monkey Nest Coffee. Well, we're across the street from Monkey Nest Coffee, which is a good choice on this one because Gus would never.
Never.
So, like, good choice. But here's the thing. It's on Burnett, which is, one of the busiest streets.
Yeah.
One of the longest, busiest streets in Austin. So if you hear a lot of cars, very sorry. But that's what it is.
That's what it is.
So tell me about Secret Gus.
Okay. So Gus and I have been friends for a very, very long time. He moved to Austin, I want to say in 1997, and I moved in 1998, the tail end of 98. And so Gus is also, he's a what you see, what you get guy. He's a WYSIWYG guy. He doesn't make a lot of friends.
Right.
He's not an extrovert, right? So when I met Gus and we became friends. And by the way, I used to be an extrovert. This career has changed that.
Yeah, I get that.
This career has changed me in a lot of ways. That's definitely one of them. But we became fast friends because we had, we were aligned in a lot of ways, right? And so we developed a really deep, lifelong friendship. Like I know no matter where I am in my life, no matter what's going on, when I'm 80 years old, Gus will still be a part of my life.
Yeah.
And I'll still be a part of his life. When Rooster Teeth is long gone and all of the friendships that we made along the way are burned to the ground, there are a few people without a doubt I know will still be in each other's lives. And it's a special thing to find someone that you care that deeply about that quickly. And it's not just about caring, you're also just so I don't know, politically, creatively aligned, socially aligned. Like we fit really well together. And so pretty early on, I buy the house, my first house. We talk about that, I think, already. Gus moves in, and he lives with me, and so we're living together, right?
Yeah.
This fucking guy, Secret Gus, starts showing up. He actually started showing up before we lived together, when Gus was in an apartment. And the reason I bring up all the other stuff about Gus is because Gus doesn't have a shitload of friends. I don't either, to be honest, or to be fair. Our social, like the Venn diagram of my friends and Gus's friends is a circle. Right? We work at the same company. We met all the same people. Gus knew a sum total of 2 people that I didn't know before I moved to Austin, I think. Frank and his friend Joe, who he lived with, right? And I incorporated both of those people into my friend group pretty quickly. Joe, he didn't make it along very far. I don't know whatever happened to Joe. But like Frank became a very dear friend very quickly. And so it's one of those situations where like I don't know everybody Gus knows, but I know everybody Gus knows. And vice versa.
Right.
And this is a person who, I don't know who your best friend in life growing up is, but it's like that person where you're like, oh, I'm going to do X, and X could be anything. I called, I'm going to go eat lunch. I'm going to go to the grocery store. I'm going to go watch a movie. I'm going to go jet ski. I call X. Gus is my X. I'm Gus's X, right?
There's got to be
X,
there's got to be a better way to
phrase that. All right. I feel like I'm being too verbose with this anyway. I'm just trying to pad. Anyway, so Gus is the person I spend all my time with, and vice versa, right? Even though I'm married at the time, unhappily. And so it's weird when you call up Gus on a Tuesday and you say, hey, I was thinking about going to get some barbecue tonight. You want to go? And he goes, oh, I can't. I got plans. And you go, oh, okay. What are you doing? And he goes, I just have plans.
Whoa.
And you go, are you hanging out with somebody? And he's like, I might hang out with some people. I got a thing I'm doing. And you're like, oh, okay. Well, and you keep waiting for him to like extrapolate or explain. And you're like, okay, I guess I'll hang up now. I don't know where the conversation goes from here. And then you ask like the next day, you see him, and you're like, I'm like, oh, you missed some good barbecue, and he'll be like, oh yeah, sorry, maybe next time. And I'm like, how was your thing? And he's like, it was fine. And like, well, what'd you do? And he's like, I did some stuff. And you're like, I'd be looking at my ex-wife and be like, what? Am I crazy? Is he like? And he'd offer nothing, And you're like, okay. And that started maybe year 2 of the friendship. Secret Gus would emerge every once in a while. And that's what we called him. Not just me. Like, all of our friends called him Secret Gus. He became a character,
Awesome.
When we used to have this phrase when we all worked at Telenetwork, and Bernie was our boss. We used to do, when somebody did something in a certain way, we'd call it pulling a Bernie. It was very frustrating when somebody would pull a Bernie, and it was definitely an insult. I think it was kind of like, I don't know if you ever watched Cheers back in the day, and if you're listening to this podcast, you're probably pretty old, but if you're not, go back and watch Cheers, because it is one of the best television shows of all time, and it holds up. I just did a full watch through again like 3 years ago. Holds up incredibly well, very well written. But there's an episode where a mailman comes in, and Cliff Clavin, who's the mailman who sits at the bar with Norm, and he's like a cast regular, is very self-aggrandizing, talks about how great of a mailman he is, and he's like very smart. And a mailman comes in, and they find out through the course of this conversation that when somebody screws up at their mail office, they call it pulling a Clavin, because his last name's Clavin. So we had pulling a Bernie, right?
Awesome.
Maybe someday we'll explain what that is.
I'm excited.
That's not a story. That's a Gus story, too. So anyway, Secret Gus started to emerge, and he would disappear for months at a time, and then sometimes he'd be around 3 times in a week. And so one day I'm talking to Frank, and I'm like, we got to get to the bottom of this Secret Gus thing. Like, I don't know what's going on here. And he agrees, and so we just agree that we're just going to, start sharing notes, if you will. One time, I get a Secret Gus, and I'm like, it is actually on a Tuesday. I was using it as an example earlier, but I call him on a Tuesday, and I'm like, you want to go out and do this thing? And he's like, oh, I can't. I got a thing. And I'm like, I have fucking Secret Gus today. I guess I don't get my friend, And also, to be honest with you, I have no problem at 47 saying, I can be real. I can be real about this. I'm jealous.
Yeah.
I'm like, who's my friend? Who's my best friend hanging out with?
Well, it's the caginess of the whole thing.
It's the caginess. It makes me feel deprioritized, unimportant.
Yeah.
Well,
if he were just to tell you, I'm going to do this, then you'd be like, well, okay, whatever. I'm not invited. It's not a big deal. there's something that it's like he doesn't want me
Actively.
is it something I would want to do and he doesn't want me there? There's too many questions and it gets you spinning too much.
Does he have friends that don't like me?
Exactly.
Or is it our friends that want to hang out together and they don't want me there because I'm like annoying? Or the mind,
it's too self
spirals
like
quickly.
you just the shot to your self-confidence when you don't know but you just have to spin up ideas. That's not good. That's bad.
And for like people that work in a creative industry where your job is to like spin your thoughts and be creative, you just go down dangerous rabbit holes very quickly where you're like, oh my God, Gus is going to break up our friendship all of a sudden, just because he didn't want to hang out on a Tuesday. And I'm also like 24 at this point, so I'm a kid, know. And so I'm just pouty, and I'm talking to Frank about it one time, and he's like, "Oh, when did you have a Secret Gus?" And I'm like, "Fucking last Tuesday, I got Secret Gus." And he was like, "What was the date?" And I told him that, and he goes, "Dude, I went by his place because I needed to pick something up that I'd left there. I went by unannounced. He was just folding clothes." And I go, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, he was just doing laundry." I asked him what he was doing, and it was like he was just at home doing laundry. And we realized that Secret Gus was just, when Gus didn't want to hang out with anybody, he would pretend to have plans, and then he would just like do laundry or watch Mad Men or whatever it is that Gus does.
What?
And I was like, why did you invent a thing? Just tell us, I just got to do laundry tonight. He loved the mystery. It was an ego thing with him, I think. He wanted to be mysterious. He wanted us to be like, Frank and I to be like racking our brains going like, who does Gus like more than us? Is Ruben in town? His friend Ruben from grade school? Like, who is it? Like,
this
what
is
is going
crazy.
on? Yeah, and it was years. And so I bring this up because as you and I are sitting here at a park bench right now, I assume Secret Gus is doing laundry in his fucking house right now.
He's definitely folding clothes at 10:30 a.m. on a Tuesday.
This motherfucker.
It's funny to have the idea that you would create a scenario where somebody would be like, I got to get to the bottom of this, and all you're doing is not wanting to hang out.
Yeah.
What the?
He didn't have anywhere to go. There were no secret friends. It was nothing. It was just that like he just didn't feel like hanging out sometimes, which I totally respect. He's an introvert.
Yeah, just say you don't want to hang out. It's fine.
I'll tell you another. Continue down this. I wish he was here for this one. Continue down the Secret Gus
rabbit
hole. I walk in. Gus and I live together.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm saying this. I've said this on podcasts before, I'm sure, but I'm thinking about it, and I still just can't believe how ludicrous it is. Okay. I walk into my house one day, 4 p.m. In my living room is Gus and a girl. They're not doing anything. They're just hanging out. Mm-hmm. And I go, "Hey, man, how's it going?" And he goes, "Good, good." And I go, "Hi, I'm Geoff." And the person introduced themselves. I'm not going to out who it was. It may have been Gus's current wife. It might have been an ex-girlfriend or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's not important to this. It's just a girl he's standing there with. Mm-hmm. And I go, "Oh, hey, I'm Geoff. It's nice to meet you." And then I go, it's just quiet, just awkward, Gus awkward anyway, but it's just awkward. And I go, and I'm in my living room feeling awkward. So I go like, how do you guys know each other? And she goes, "We're dating. I'm Gus's girlfriend." And I went, "Oh, congratulations. That's great. How long have you guys been dating?" Would you like to guess the number I got?
3 weeks.
8 months.
Oh my God.
Gus says, about 8 months. We lived together in a 1,200 square foot house. He dated somebody without telling me under my nose for 8 months. 8!
That's the craziest fucking thing I've ever heard.
I'm a different kind of lunatic, right? I'm a different kind of fucked up. I acknowledge that. I met my first wife, and within 8 months, we were married. That's wrong. We shouldn't have done that. That was stupid. That was juvenile. That was wrong in a million different ways for a 21-year-old to get married to somebody he'd known for 8 months. But not to acknowledge the existence to the person, your best friend and roommate.
Your roommate.
For 8 months.
That's insane. So, but like you guys worked together and would go out and hang out, and he just never.
Nah.
My girlfriend.
If you told me, if you sent me pictures tomorrow of Gus in Alaska with an entire like Eskimo family that with like 7 kids, I would be like, I guess that, yeah.
Do you think that's where he is now?
I don't know, dude. He's either doing laundry or he's in the middle of like some 17-year-long relationship with somebody, a friend, or I mean, he might have Eric, he might be in his other career.
He's got his other job.
Things might just be heating up over at the accounting firm where he secretly works.
He still works at the call center.
God damn. So,
That's crazy.
yeah, man.
How was Gus as a roommate? Like, how long did you guys live together?
We lived together multiple times.
Oh, okay. So how was he progressively as a roommate? Did you see changes?
No. Gus is
doesn't surprise me at
Gus
all.
cleans up after himself. He's I wouldn't say fastidious, but he's very orderly. He doesn't make a mess to begin with.
Right.
He doesn't really cook. He orders out, so there's not a lot of kitchen mess. And he sticks to himself most of the time.
Yeah.
He only comes out to play video games. Otherwise, he's in his room. He was a perfect roommate.
It's
it was
awesome.
a perfect friendship because if Gus didn't want to hang out or if I didn't want to hang out, we could easily be around each other without being around each other and
Right.
ignore each other, which is why Secret Gus was such a superfluous character
That's so
who was just
insane.
completely unnecessary.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
What a life. What a way to live where you just 8 months. What?
8 months.
Wow.
8 months.
That is incredible.
Yeah, man.
How many times did you live with Gus?
2 or 3.
Okay.
It was always in that same house. When I think we covered this.
Wait. It was always in that same house? Like he would move out and then move back in?
Yeah. Like I think he lived twice. We moved in together, and then he moved to Puerto Rico.
Oh,
and
right.
then when he came back, he lived with me again for a little while until he got a place.
Okay. Okay.
And he could have lived with me for the rest of his life.
Yeah. I understand that. I have friends like that.
Can I tell you? And I would have been fine with it. Can I tell you how he moved out?
Oh, please.
The last time he moved out, this is after he came back from Puerto Rico. So at this point, I had been divorced from my first wife, had met, fallen in love with, and gotten married, or actually we weren't married yet. Had gotten, was living with and dating my second, who became my second wife, and we found out we were pregnant, which was very welcome.
Yeah.
We weren't planning on it in that moment, but we had already decided we were going to have kids together. And I had kind of gotten out of my first marriage because I didn't want to have kids with that person, but I desperately wanted to have kids. And so we, anyway, that's how Millie happened. My now 17-year-old daughter, almost 17-year-old daughter. So we found out the next day. Gus came home. We were in the living room. I sat him down. I said, I have some news to share with you. And he goes, Gus gets his hackles up immediately. He's like, what's going on? They're both staring. And so he sits down in a chair, and I go, I just want to share some news. It's kind of a big deal to us. I'm really excited about it, but we're pregnant. We're going to have a baby. And Gus, I'm just going to give you Gus. Like I just said, we're pregnant. We're going to have a baby. I'm moving out. And then he turned around and went to his room. The pause, the breathing, the disappointed look, and then just
I'm moving out.
matter-of-factly, I'm moving out, and that's why Gus and I, that's when we stopped living together. Once again, totally get it, but so Gus.
That's phenomenal. How long did it take for him to move out?
Like 3 weeks. He was out pretty quickly.
He was out of there. He meant it. So you guys have lived together a bunch of times.
Yeah.
You've known each other for a long time. Since starting the company, how would you say that your friendship has changed with Gus?
It hasn't.
I couldn't imagine that it did.
Yeah, it hasn't changed in any way whatsoever.
I would imagine with other people, the other guys like from this company, it probably has in other ways. With Gus, I can't imagine that it would like route in any, because it's Gus.
Yeah, it's weird, man. Gus and I never, there were, especially for the first, let's just say the first 10 years. It was a much, it was a 4 to 5 to 30 person company in that period. But for the first 7 years, there was about 6 of us, realistically 7. It was very intense. We talked about how the trouble we had with work-life, home-life balance and how much we poured into the company. It was a labor of love. We used to, very rarely would I argue with Matt.
Right.
More often would I argue with Bernie.
Oh, interesting.
Or vice versa. I don't know that Gus and I have ever really argued about anything.
Right.
I mean, argue in the way that friends argue because they want to get each other.
Yeah.
We're fucking around with each other.
But
like, we've
actually-
never fought about work, really. We've never, and to be totally honest with you, like I was thinking about this earlier. I've the people that I have like really deep friendships with currently, and I was thinking about Jack. Our friendship, Jack's the guy I started Achievement Hunter with.
Mm-hmm.
Our friendship was formed through the creation of Achievement Hunter, right? My friendship with Gus was cemented before, and then we created Rooster Teeth, but the two have nothing to do with each other.
Huh.
And it's weird because they should. It should be more intermingled. I don't know how to describe it other than just like, it doesn't matter. Rooster Teeth doesn't matter to my friendship with Gus, and I don't think. And I would say he'd probably feel the same way. If anything, the friendship has grown in the way that we have both allowed ourselves to become, I don't know, the people that we're moving on to be, which is not the people that we were when we met, and that can create wedges and distance. And there's something about like the more distance you put between Gus and I, the stronger the friendship is.
Oh, wow.
Which is a weird thing to say, but like I think part of the way that we were able to bond over the years is by giving each other space. Like Gus is a very, very solitary. You know this. You've known him for a very long time.
Oh, yeah.
You probably know him now socially more than I do.
Yes, yeah.
I haven't hung out with Gus, and it sounds weird to say this is one of my two best friends in the world, but I haven't hung out with Gus socially in years.
Gus doesn't
Years.
hang.
I haven't gotten a meal with Gus in probably 7 years.
I had lunch with him on Friday.
There you go.
But like, Gus doesn't like hang. He's not like a hangout guy. You know, like
No.
I can call Blaine or who's someone we work with, and like, hey, I'm gonna do this. You want to hang out? And it's like, yeah, you have people that you hang out with. There's other people where you just like, oh, that's my great friend. We never hang out.
Yeah.
It's just like a certain kind of person that's just like that.
And it's sort of like, you kind of say it like we picked up where we left off, or we haven't seen each other for
Yeah.
years kind of thing. But with Gus, it's like there's no leaving off. It's
No.
like, this is just the friendship.
That's
you
what
know?
it is.
I
Yeah.
know he's out there, would die for me,
Yeah.
and vice versa. And I'm so comfortable in our friendship that I don't feel the need to see him or reach out to him or be around. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It's just like, I don't know. It's just like my friendship with Gus is like breathing. It just is.
It exists.
Yeah.
Right.
And I will say also too, a lot of people might find that weird. It might find it weird that Gus and I don't really spend a lot of time together. I think you would be lucky if you don't have a friend like that in your life. You would be lucky to find one.
I agree, and I do think that it's a it's a certain kind of person that you hang out with or don't hang out with, I guess, and still have like that friendship. But I also think it's an age thing, right? Like, I'm 36, and I don't hang out the way that I used to with the amount of people and doing the amount of things that I did when I was 26.
Of course.
And I assume when I'm 46, it's going to dwindle even more. But I'll still have the core sort of like friendships that I have and that kind of stuff. And I think that's important. And I think it's also important to know when to press and when not to press for like, we really got to hang out. Like, hey, I haven't seen you in forever. There's certain friends, haven't seen you in forever. We got to hang out. And then other friends where you shoot a text and you go, hey, you see this bullshit? And they go, fucking crazy. And I think that's just the way that is. Like, you guys started a company together. Your friendship hasn't changed. If anything, it's become stronger.
We also spent 15, 16 hours a day together every day, and then we'd go home and live together.
And that's what I was going to get at.
Yeah.
Like, to start a company is one thing, and to like put so much into it, but then to be like, all right, see you at home.
Yeah.
And to like not fucking kill each other is crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, as Rooster Teeth sort of grew, I assume you guys work together like less? Is that that's just sort of like how that split happens, right?
Yeah, it's like I always think about when bands break up and they always cite creative differences. And it's like, I imagine that would have happened to Rooster Teeth at some point if we hadn't positioned ourselves as a production company where when we had creative quote unquote differences, or not even really differences, but just desires, we could support each other and give each other space to go do those things.
Yeah.
Like when I was creating Achievement Hunter, like we were all in on red versus blue for a very long time, and that was very intense. Then as I started peeling off to create Achievement Hunter and create a little, I don't know, my own slice in the company.
Right.
Gus was doing the same thing with became the broadcast department with podcasting with this. You know, he really spearheaded and took that on. And so that started to send us all of us in different directions, you know? in the company, we all kind of ended up in charge of different arms of the company and like different at the ends of different spokes on a wheel. And our interactions became less and less and less because of that. And it was a shame because I got to spend time with those people less and less. But it was also a wonderful feeling because I knew that I had the space to do it and I had the support and that I had the trust. And I could trust that I didn't know what Gus was doing, but whatever he was doing, he was kicking ass for the company. And I was doing the same thing. And I think that trust only comes from the repetition of working together and developing that shorthand and becoming so aligned.
Right.
And it was that intense 6-7 years that we all spent together in the same room trying not to kill each other that allowed us to trust each other to go off and grow the company in different directions.
Yeah, for sure.
And the reality is once those directions start to take off, it becomes very difficult, nigh impossible to get back together.
Yeah.
Like there was never a way that Bernie and Gus and Matt and Geoff were all going to end up working on the same thing again. Not because they didn't want to, not because they had creative differences, not because they were no longer aligned, but just because they all had different things to work, different passions and different parts of the company to grow and support. Yeah, I think that one of the reasons that Rooster Teeth was able to be successful, and a million reasons, talent, right place, right time, hyper supportive community, a lot of luck, but we were able to develop a trust that is unbreakable.
Yeah,
you
for
know?
sure.
I cannot tell, I don't trust anybody on earth as much as I trust Gus.
Yeah,
probably.
no, I get it. I get that.
And Bernie for that matter. And that trust allows a lot of freedom.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and I think it lets you go out and do the stuff like start things like Achievement Hunter and do like those other things and know whatever you're kind of working on or whatever, there's still like the core of what you guys were doing. And that's why I keep coming back to like the friendship thing with Gus or whatever, because it's not like I don't see you guys ever fucking work together for as long as I've been here. I've never seen you guys work together on anything.
The most you'll ever see, well, before this podcast, is I would very, very rarely get invited to the RT podcast.
Yeah, the RT podcast.
Usually when somebody cancels at the last minute.
And it would, because it's always a thing where it's like, well, we'll try to get Geoff on, but we can't have Geoff on too much because Geoff has other shit to do. So we could try to have Geoff on. Well, let's see what we can sort of split. It's just that because, like you're saying, you have other shit going on. In the company, there's a lot of other stuff going on. And it's like, yeah, I would love to get together and work and fuck off and hang out and all that stuff. But it's just, you're in different arms, different branches of like this stuff or whatever. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
A few years ago, well, it was, I don't remember when we did it, but it was years and years ago. We did I think it was probably for Extra Life. We did a drunken Red versus Blue commentary or something.
Yeah.
It was a mess. Like we had fun and it was great and we had a lovely time and we all got together and had a great night together and we had a lot of fun and it was a huge mess. But I remember about that time I got super nostalgic and I went to Bernie and Matt and Gus and I was like, wouldn't it be fun? I floated this idea to him. I was like, wouldn't it be fun if we got some old Xboxes and we put them together and we just made, the four of us just made one episode of Red versus Blue together the old way.
That would be insane.
Season 1. And I was like, we could just a 3-minute video, you know? And there was zero desire from anyone other than Geoff to do that. And I was like, they looked at me like I was a fucking asshole. And I was like, all right, well, I thought it would be fun. But yeah, nobody else wanted to do that.
So friendship with Gus, largely not influenced by like your work and everything here.
You know, I would be interested to hear his opinion on that. That's my take on it. He might feel differently, but I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
I think he's probably but I guess what I was going to ask is you're talking about starting Achievement Hunter with Jack. How has that been different? Like how's that friendship different from like where that started?
Well, it's a very, very different kind of friendship.
Right.
And our friendship is very much tied to work, and I don't mean that in a negative way at all. But our friendship is tied to creativity, in a good way. I would say that Jack is probably like the sweetest, most supportive friendship I have. You know, I just like during the pandemic. You know, I would consider Gus, Gavin, and Jack my 3 best friends on Earth. And during the pandemic, Jack is the one I saw the most, by far.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I saw Gus and I saw each other for coffee maybe 3 times. Jack and I saw each other for coffee maybe 15 times.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's just we see each other every week come rain or shine. I think we were definitely more. Our friendship is more emotionally supportive, you know?
Got it.
We share feelings a lot.
And you don't share feelings with Gus?
No, Gus and I don't share a lot of feelings. Very, very rarely. We talk through stuff, Jack and I.
Yeah.
But it is interesting because you bring that up because I was thinking about it. Like I said, I was thinking about it in bed. There's like my friendship with Jack happened as we were making Achievement Hunter together.
Right.
And it is very much tied to Achievement Hunter. I mean, not that, if Achievement Hunter died tomorrow, my friendship with Jack wouldn't die. He'll be friends.
Of
he'll
course.
be my friend for the rest of my life too. But yeah, I don't know. It's just like he's a wildly different person. You know? He annoys me in totally different ways than Gus annoys me, but just as much. You know, the only person who never annoys me, and when they do, it's very rare. And when they do, it's purely schedule wise, and I get it. The only person on earth who doesn't annoy me is Gavin.
Yeah. So I was going to ask next. How's that been with Gavin? Because so you talk about starting a company with Gus and starting Achievement Hunter with Jack. Gavin was a fan that became, a cornerstone, a keystone to like Rooster Teeth, Achievement Hunter, and all that stuff. Yeah. What is that? How does that develop? And it's just like he lived with you, and Gavin is wildly successful, and it's like, what a completely different friendship from the other two.
I think it boils down to the fact that, because it does seem weird, right? We met a British kid online.
You got to be less reductive.
Who was 14, and we called him to wish him happy birthday on his 15th birthday.
It's only sounding worse as you explain it.
Then on the summers, we'd convince his parents to fly him to America to spend 90 days with a stranger in his house.
You've got to stop.
I know. It sounds so fucking weird.
That's insane.
Other than Gavin didn't come visit us till he was 19, I think. And at that point, he was like a part of the company.
Right.
I don't know how to describe it other than just like, if you've met Gavin, you understand.
Oh, yeah.
His grandfather, who I love dearly, told me one time, you might hear us joke about this from time to time. He told me that Gavin is the boy with the golden hens. The boy with the golden hens. He's got the golden hens. Everything he touches, it's gold. It's a pure heart. He touches hard, it's gold. That's an Italian dude. And it's true. Like you spend a day with Gavin, and then you get that Gavin is a special person.
Yeah.
Just a rare, unique, one-of-a-kind human being that most people won't be lucky enough to meet.
Yeah.
Someone like that in their life. He's a one in a million. And you just want to... He has that kind of natural charisma where you just want to be around him all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really creatively driven, too.
Oh, my God.
Like,
yeah.
I think of everyone that I've probably ever worked with, he's the guy who... He's down for whatever, but if he's not getting creative fulfillment out of it, it's definitely just like, well, what are we doing? And I really like that.
I appreciate that, too.
I really like that. There's so many people that'll just sort of like, yeah, I'll come in and like check the box, whatever. But he feels like we fucking did. I can tell you now, we have the tuxedo from the tuxedo.
We got it?
I have it at the office. And I told him yesterday just before the podcast, and it was like his face like lit up. He was excited, and then it really is that kind of thing where he sees the fun in stuff.
Yeah.
And as long as he has that and there's something creative, there's something fun, he's getting something out of it, he's all in.
And he makes everything he touches better.
Oh, 100%.
And not a little better.
No.
Markedly better.
Yeah.
He is like carnation non-dairy creamer. He makes everything a little sweeter.
Yeah. It's great. And that's like, I think it's so interesting when you look at where you're at, like in the company, starting the company and everything. And then the people that you consider your three best friends those are like so wildly different, like people. But that's so cool that you get as much or as little as you get to. You get to work with your best friends.
Well, I think I think I'm never mind. I was gonna make a very aggrandizing joke about how well, luckily I am a complicated and complex enough person that I can manage three disparate friendships. It says a lot about me and the kind of person I am. But
very magnanimous of you.
I'm just very lucky.
Yeah.
To have met such to have got my hooks into some really beautiful people.
So we're at Genuine Joe's Coffee. I gave you a pause this time, even. We're at Genuine Joe's Coffee on Anderson. I've never been here before. Do you come here often?
I've been here once.
You ever come here?
I've been here only once, but I will say I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's
Okay.
very like 90s college coffee shop, which is what I'm into.
I thought that's what you didn't like about Flight Path.
No, the thing I don't like about Flight Path and BNU for that matter is that everybody is studying and they appear very
Like
busy.
a college coffee
And-
shop.
Yeah, but I'm like a college coffee shop where people fuck off and talk about like Sartre and wear berets and are
So
like,
you like
trying
the
to pick up chicks.
You like
and
the
dudes.
pretension of a coffee shop without the actual.
I like the coffee shop.
studious nature.
There's two different kinds of coffee shops you go to. One where nerdy people go to learn, and one where other people go to socialize. I like that.
So putting on a
coffee shop.
beret and talking about Sartre is not nerdy? Is that what you're saying?
No, that's a different kind of nerdy.
No,
It's
way.
nerdy.
You're all over the
You're
place. You
right.
don't make any sense. But I don't think we've actually been up here. We're on Anderson. We're not too far from the Alamo Village.
True.
Which is down the road from here. Which have we talked about the Alamo Village on this podcast before?
I don't.
I feel like we might have covered back the days when we were doing RVB showings.
Maybe.
I think maybe we did that with
It was-
between Alamo and downtown and Village.
Yeah, it was the second Alamo ever. The first one, of course, was downtown, which is not there anymore. So I guess now it's the oldest Alamo that's still in operation. And I still remember, like, when they announced that they were going to open up this second location. I don't know if you remember this, but they would play these bumpers at the old Alamo downtown where it was like Draft House Henry was getting up on a ladder. And he remember the old sign for the Village, and he put up the letters that said Alamo on the marquee out here because it was just the Village Theater.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was like, oh, this is the second location. They're gonna have it up there at the Alamo Village. And it's weird to think, like, in those early days, like thinking about the Alamo specifically, it made me think about Draft House Henry. Like, to think about like the faces that the Alamo had,
Yeah.
and like the personalities that they had controlling, or not controlling, but as like their marketing,
Driving that.
yeah, driving a lot of the messaging for the Alamo. And you don't, since they've grown so much, obviously you can't scale that. Like a lot
Yeah.
of that's gone. Like it made me think about Henry and how, we used to hang out. There was like a window in time where we would hang out with him.
He went to my wedding.
Yeah.
I saw him at a Christmas party 3 years ago, like right before pandemic, and it was incredibly awkward. I couldn't have gotten the impression that he wanted to talk to me less. Like, it was really weird.
Really?
Yeah, love the guy, I loved him, but it was just like two people that kind of knew each other a long time ago reconnecting, and it just was awkward.
Weird.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Right. Right.
That's really.
Could have been me that night too. Who knows?
I always assume it's me personally.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a trip to think back like that.
Really funny
on
dude.
that. Yeah, absolutely. You remember? I think the first time we played Halo 2, like the official launch release copy of Halo 2, was at his house.
Yeah.
He got a copy of it like a day or two before the street date because they were doing something at the Alamo with it, and it was like a big deal. We went over to his house and hung out. I don't remember where it was. Somewhere over on the east side.
I do know where it is actually. Yeah. I'll tell you off camera.
Okay, yeah. You don't want to share it right now? And we went.
He doesn't live there anymore, but yeah.
It was part of I remember it was part of that whole like I Love Bees stuff.
Yeah.
They were doing like a lot of promotion for it back then. But yeah, it's just weird, all those memories thinking about.
It's
that
funny.
time.
It's funny to me because I remember when the Village Alamo opened up, and first off, it felt like it was on the other end of the world.
Yeah, it
because
was
lived.
Well, we said this. Yeah,
We're
forever.
South Austin.
Yeah.
We were living in Riverside and shit. And Austin was so much smaller back then in terms of just how far you'd be willing to travel. But now, and it was also purely by my bias, I think, but it felt like a lesser version of the Alamo to me. Like, I was never crazy about that one. Now it's my favorite Alamo because it's the only one that still feels like the Alamo. I mean, they all do, but it has like... It still feels like you're walking into the original Alamos when you go to the Village. In a way you don't get the other ones.
It's definitely my favorite one to
Yeah.
go to. It feels like they show the most. Other places will show stuff. This one feels like it shows the most off the wall stuff, and I like the seating.
Yeah.
Feels like an old theater where it's not like the big scoop like theater, huge seating. It's just like buy a ticket, sit on the floor.
The seating definitely still has the vibe. I mean, you're not sitting in cracked leather black sofas in the back like the very first Alamo, but it still kind of has the same setup. And I kind of feel that way about this part of town. Like, I never really wanted to come this far north because everything that we did was south, and there was no reason to. And now, I've talked about this with Gus personally because I live a little further north than I used to, further north than I ever have in Austin. This is the part of Austin that still feels like old Austin to me.
Well,
Crestview, Brentwood, Anderson, North Loop, like this little corridor has the most like The Austin that I fell in love with in 1994, that flavor.
This area that we're in is between two other areas we've mentioned, and you mentioned it right now, like that North Loop area, and also like parts of Burnett. But Burnett's really changing a lot. Like this is between that, it like connects all those other parts of town. There's like a ribbon that runs through Austin of that. But I want to, if you don't mind, I want to step back for a second.
Sure, please.
Thinking about the Alamo Village and when they opened it, I remember when they announced that they were opening the second location, being puzzled, like, why the fuck do they need another location?
Yeah.
Like, what's the point of it? Not realizing how much better it could be.
Yeah.
Because back then, the original Alamo was just that one screen in a flat. The room was totally flat, and it was not an ideal experience at all. Like here, they actually have multiple at the Village. They have multiple screens. They could also show newer movies in addition to just specific old programming like they really did at the Draft House downtown. And I was just puzzled, like why the hell would they open another location?
I was just there yesterday, or 2 days ago. Love it. Saw Top Gun finally.
Whenever I'm driving around town, like I'll see stuff that'll remind me of something, and I'll like think about it until I park, like or I get home, and I have to make a note of it on my phone, like something to potentially talk about. For example, the other day I was driving down Lamar, like close to over there by 6th and Lamar, and passed by what used to be G&M Steakhouse.
Oh, G&M.
It's empty now. It's like it's got a for lease sign on it. What was it? It was like Counterculture? What
no, it was Counter Cafe. It was
Cafe.
G&M Steakhouse, then it became Counter Cafe, and then they eventually opened a second location, a third, and I think they closed that one. Because there's one at like Guadalupe and then one on East 6th.
But the interesting thing, the reason I wrote it down to talk about it, specifically in the G&M Steakhouse era, was there was a period of time where even though it was the G&M Steakhouse, the sign outside said G&M Steakhouse, it was two restaurants.
Yeah.
During the day, it was G&M Steakhouse, and you'd go in and whatever. Like it was an iconic place.
It was the greasiest of greasy spoons, Eric. Like a lunch counter. It had 3 tables inside and a lunch counter. Very small.
And, at the end of dinner service, at the end of the night, it would close down. And then at midnight, it would reopen. And it was a place called Rito's Sliders. And it was just like, this dude, name was Rito, and he'd sit there, and all he did was make sliders. You'd go in, you'd order like 6 sliders or whatever. He'd sit there and eat them, and it was fucking delicious. It was only open from like midnight to 5 a.m. or something.
Yeah, and I feel like that window was pretty short too.
It was like a year or two.
Maybe, yeah.
Where was this? Were there like bars around it and stuff? Like, why would you have
It's like 6th and Lamar, kind of next to where Waterloo Records is.
You would, it's right next to 24 Hour Diner, if you know where that is.
Yeah. Okay.
Across from like Book People.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah, but like that's not like a super bar
No.
heavy. So why are you?
Especially not back then.
Not back then for sure.
West 6 was not built out like how it is now.
So why did he have a midnight restaurant?
Well, I wonder why it didn't last. Yeah. Well, no, what happened was I believe the people who ran G&M Steakhouse saw how successful he was. Then they didn't renew his lease. Then they started opening at midnight to try to sell sliders, and no one ever went back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Damn.
So yeah, it was like one of those restaurants that was lost to time. I only found out about Rito's from Jason. I don't know how Jason found it. Jason always had like his finger on the pulse of Austin.
Jason was so much cooler than us.
Yeah.
In terms of like knowing shit. We should get him on pretty soon because he knows so much more about Austin than we do.
Someone has to text him. I don't have his number, and I've never met him. So
You've never met Jason?
No. When would I have met Jason?
I don't know, at a Comic-Con or something, maybe.
I don't think so.
Huh.
So someone's got to text him and be like, "Hey, come on this podcast."
All right, I'll text him. I had breakfast with him not too long ago.
Okay. I think he would be a great first guest. I think getting him and finding a spot,
agree.
I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah. It was funny whenever. Like places like Rito's, Jason would clue you into. Also, if you were looking for a place to live or a car, he would help you find it.
Dude.
I know that sounds weird, but Jason could find stuff in Austin. Like he knew it.
That's no joke. The house that I lived in for 11 years, where Millie was born up until I got divorced, he found that house. I forgot about that until just now.
Yeah.
Like he texted it to me, and I was like, I sent it immediately to my real estate agent because I was looking, and I bought the house the day he sent me. I put an offer in the house the day he sent me the listing.
But that reminds me also, I don't know if you remember this. You never had to deal with this person, but there was this apartment locator in Austin who I used a couple of times back before I bought a house, and he was one of the strangest people I've ever met, but he had this uncanny ability, just like in talking to you, in getting to know you, to figure out exactly what you wanted and where you wanted to live. Like you would get in his car, and his car was like,
what?
Listen, you would get in his car. Trust me, this whole story is wild. His car looked like a hoarder lived in it. There were like papers all over everywhere in the car, like real estate contracts,
Yeah.
like leases, and like everywhere. It was like a file cabinet exploded in his car, and you would start driving around Austin, and he would just start talking to you, and you would ask you typical questions like, where do you want to live, how big of a place do you want, but also like, how long you lived in Austin, what kind of car you drive, just like all this stuff. You drive around in his car for an hour, aimlessly. Like I remember he would like be looking at people, and you would stop at a red light, and there'd be like a homeless dude holding up a sign, and he'd be like, that guy's sign changed. It was different earlier. And he'd be like, then he would read it out loud, be like, okay. And then you drive around for an hour, then he'd be like, I know the perfect place for you. And he'd drive straight to it. He'd be like, this place is awesome. This is exactly what I wanted. It's the price I want. It's the location I want. It's everything I want. And it'd be like one place and done. You'd have to drive around talking to the dude for an hour, but then after an hour, you'd be like, this place is amazing. I absolutely want to live here. And I remember...
How many of your apartments did you find through that guy?
2. But I remember I also referred Monty to him. When Monty first moved to Austin, Monty was very much like, let's just get this over with, like no nonsense kind of guy. And I was like, listen, you got to drive around with this guy for an hour, but he's going to find the perfect place for you. And I
can't imagine Monty giving anybody an hour like
so
that.
that's why I set it up. I was like, you're gonna have to go through this process. And then like the next day, Monty came in to work and was like, you were right. I just drove around with the guy for an hour. He's like, I felt like it was a waste of time. And then he took me to like the perfect place. It's like I signed a lease that day on the spot.
I will say, I know the place Monty lived when he first moved to Austin, and it was perfect for him.
Yeah,
I mean, like 100%. I can see it in my head right now. I know exactly where it is.
Yeah.
It's absolutely perfect for him.
It was he had this supernatural ability to help you find even if you didn't know what you were looking for, just in talking to you, whatever passive conversation. I remember, like I said, I found 2 different places with him. I found the first one, then like three years later.
Your south place and your north place?
No, the first one was the place off of Enfield.
Okay.
The second one was the house that I rented off of Lake Austin. And I remember, like, I lived in that apartment on Enfield for like 3 years, and then I called him again for the new place, and he still remembered me. Like, he picked me up. He's like, "Oh, you still have that blue truck? How are your pets?" Like didn't miss a beat. Yeah, like everything. He remembered everything. Like 3 years later, after our 1 hour conversation.
Yeah.
And then so the second time we went to drive around for like 15 minutes. And he's like, "Okay, here, now I know the perfect place for you." He took me to the house. Like, "Okay, great, love it."
That's a dude who knows Austin better than I ever will.
Yeah.
I'm jealous of that guy.
I still see him occasionally. Like, I was driving down the street randomly a couple of years ago, and I was like, he was out in front of a house watering yards. Like, oh shit, he must live there. He actually not too far in that direction right over here.
That you just told the most Austin, Texas story I've ever fucking heard. Like, I think that's what people move here hoping is going to happen to them. Yeah, I just drove around in a guy's car for an hour, and he went, the perfect place to live.
And it's not like it was a nice car. It was like, it was like a mid-90s Camry, like nothing fancy. Like, not like it was a shitty car or anything. It's just like, it was a very forgettable, very plain car, just filled with tons of real estate paperwork.
That is definitely the kind of city that I moved to, that I fell in love with, that Austin is not anymore.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, now it's weird to me because I feel like if every apartment complex that's being built is a luxury apartment, what does that mean anymore? Like, what's not a luxury apartment at this point? Is it like a place that isn't new?
It's either luxury or efficiency. That's the only two options.
Yeah, like every apartment complex gets built and they put a stupid name on it and it has luxury apartments. Who gives a fuck?
Man, it's crazy to me. We talk about how many people are moving here and how much it's changing and growing, which, this is not a Austin used to be better podcast.
No, not at all. It's different.
We are not cynical in any way whatsoever. I love Austin today just as much as I loved it the day I moved here, maybe even more, just differently. But I'm continually surprised because I'll walk into my kid's room and she'll be watching YouTube. She's 16, almost 17, or TikTok. And every time she'll be like, "Oh, look at this dude. He's hilarious. He's my new favorite TikToker." And I'll be like, "Is that on Guadalupe?" And she's like, "Oh, yeah, he lives in Austin." And I'm like, "How many followers does this TikToker have?" And she's like, "Oh, like 50 million. And I'm like, "Never heard of him." She's like, "Yeah, he moved to Austin 3 months ago." And they'll have a whole crew, and they'll have like, and I'll watch a YouTube video, and they'll have like Rooster Teeth style productions going on with like full crews and stuff, and they'll just be like, I don't know, in Hyde Park, and it's so weird how pervasive the new media world is just hitting Austin right now, and how that was us 20 years ago, and now we're the fucking dinosaurs.
Dude, we are absolutely dinosaurs. But we talked about it even back then. We never, at the time, we didn't understand why people felt that magnetism and that pull to go to like LA to get shit
Right.
done. And I mean, I guess I kind of understand it now. You know, there's a lot more infrastructure, there's a lot more built out for that. But it's like you can live at the time. You could live cheaper.
You could live for $300 a month in Austin back in the day.
You know, being here in Austin versus being out there, which is why we just stayed here. You know, and just kept making our stuff here as opposed to moving out somewhere. And you know, granted, out there you make it's a lot easier to make connections and.
Well, we also
people.
like. Have we talked much about like our draw, like the whys of why we fell in love with Austin, why we were drawn to it? Like I don't know. For me, it was all film related, right? Like Robert Rodriguez was here.
Yeah.
Wes Anderson was here. Like I was a huge Bottle Rocket fan when I was in the Army, and that made me want to move here. Richard Linklater. You know, I saw Slacker, and that's why I wanted to live in Austin, because I wanted to live where people. I wanted to live around people who drove around in cabs and talked like that all day long. Because that was not going on in Alabama.
Yeah.
But there was this like huge entrepreneurial like film scene and entertainment scene in Austin back in the 90s that I think it kind of gets forgotten about. But it's where a lot of independent film really found its footing in that time, I think, you know?
Well, yeah, I mean,
even the people like Quentin Tarantino, who didn't get their start here, fell in love with Austin and then started to bring that scene into Austin through their love of the city, you know?
He filmed Death Proof here,
Yeah,
right?
Death Proof's was it Guero's and then
Texas Chili Parlor.
Texas Chili Parlor, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, you know, I grew up really isolated in a really small town. There was no way I could watch small independent film out there. But for me, it was a lot more the entrepreneurial stuff. And I kind of touched on that in some of the early episodes about wanting to come here and do something on the internet and not having the money to move to California where, you know, all of that stuff was really popping. But I thought, you know, make it happen in Austin.
Yeah.
Then, you know, growing up, like where I lived growing up, it was such a small town. The closest like real city was San Antonio. It's like a 2.5 hour drive away. And San Antonio was fine, but it's like, yeah, you drive another hour up 35 and you're in Austin. And I always liked Austin a lot more.
Yeah.
And I was born here, and I don't really remember. My family moved away when I was like 4, so I have like some very vague memories of it from being a little kid. But you know, it always drew me back. I'd always visit when I was young, and my favorite thing to do when I would visit Austin as a teenager was to go to Half Price Books, which I thought was the greatest store in the world because I could stock up on D&D books super cheap that were used and take them back to Eagle Pass because there was no way to buy them down there.
Yeah.
It was a way to get anything I needed and for a much cheaper price here.
I saw, not to change the subject, but I just remembered, I saw 2 rednecks get into a fight at Barton Springs yesterday.
What?
It was awesome.
Why?
Who knows, man? They were on Barton Springs, and I was like floating in Emily, I never did this before. Emily loves to bring inner tubes to Barton Springs.
Yes,
and
she
we
does.
just float in our little inner tubes, and it's the best. And we were just trying to beat the heat yesterday for a little bit and get Millie out of the house and find something to do with my mom. And so we were just like hanging out at Barton Springs and floating. And then these 2 dudes started screaming at each other. And then one dude got up on a hill, like on the hill, on the free side of Barton Springs, and was yelling at the dude. And then the dude chased him up the hill a little bit. And then the dude on the hill threw a beer at the dude and hit him in the head. And then the dude went up and smacked him. And then the other dude ran away into the woods for a while. And then he came back. And then eventually a plainclothes cop came and took care of it. But they probably fought for 15 minutes and nobody was stopping them. Just kids around, families around. You know, it was fucking weird.
Do you think maybe they were drunk?
Well, it was noon on a Sunday, so probably.
So
I
absolutely.
think the heat makes people insane. It was like 104 yesterday.
Yeah, that's true.
Explains a lot about Texas.
Talk about Barton Springs real quick, because if you're not from here, I don't think people know what that is. Because you said Barton Springs and Bargain Springs, which I think is such a great fucking name.
So Barton Springs is a place just south of the river. It is a natural fed spring.
It's in Zilker Park.
It's in Zilker Park. And it's a paid pool, essentially. It's huge. There's a diving board. It has the appearance of like a big kind of pool cut into limestone.
Yeah, like a big
I guess.
rectangular swimming pool, basically.
Yeah, and it's like fucking huge. And you go and you pay like $5 and you can swim there all day. And the wild thing about it is it's right in the middle of the park. And when you're in the water, you can see the skyline of Austin. So it's this like real surreal experience where you feel like you're out in a swimming hole in the middle of nowhere. like Huck Finn style, but in front of you is this gorgeous skyline and this beautiful park.
I feel like you see it on like postcards. You ever see
It's
like
very postcardy,
tourism
yeah.
photos of Austin? It looks like people are in a big swimming pool. It's probably Barton Springs.
And there's a fence because it's a spring, and then the water filters out into this free side, which we call Bargain Springs or Barking Springs because people take their dogs there. And it's just like the runoff from that. You can go and people will get there at like 7 in the morning and set up a grill in the water, and they'll bring like 30 dogs and like a fucking boombox and just go to town all day long while the people that paid $5 are on the other side listening to it. It's always a wild time. And you should not bring your dog there right now. Do not let your dogs in the water in Austin because there is poisonous algae that will kill them.
Yes.
And people are still bringing their dogs there. And I just see these poor fucking dogs running around in Barton Springs all day yesterday thinking they're it's a death sentence.
Yeah. I used to spend a lot of time there back, God, when was it? Back at maybe it was between jobs. Or maybe when I was working at the place downtown before Rooster Teeth.
It was when you were working at the place downtown
That's
and
right.
then after.
Because it was a traveling job, and my days off were Tuesday and Wednesday. So I would go down like in the morning in the summer, and I would take like a computer book to try to learn something and just like lay there in the sun and read because I was always trying to get a better job or trying to move to a new place to get like better pay.
You also did that. You were swimming early in the morning too. You were like doing laps or
Go
something.
down,
That was your
swim, read a book,
exercise.
hang out. It's cool. But I haven't been back there probably since. It's probably been since like 2001, 2002 since I've been down there at Barton Springs.
So that's a tip too. If you come to Austin and you want to go to Barton Springs, you can go to the much dirtier Freeside Bargain Springs. There are snakes and people drunk at 9 a.m. throwing beer cans at each other. But if you want to go to Barkin Springs, if you want to go to Barton Springs and you don't want to pay, it's free for an hour in the morning, like from 8 to 9 for free swimming. And then at night from like 8 p.m. to 9 p.m., it's free as well.
The water is like a constant temperature. What is it, like 68 degrees
Yeah, it's
year round?
very
So people do
cold.
like a plunge on like New Year's Day.
A lot of polar bear plunging.
Yeah.
Actually, during the big freeze, they were putting homeless people in the water because it was warmer than it was outside. And people
You're full
were
of shit.
saying, I swear to God, I
No.
read that. I read it. Look it up.
That can't be true.
Look it up.
I just think it can't be true because the way that you've structured your sentence is they're putting homeless people in
Look
the
it up.
water.
I'm pretty sure. I don't think I'm lying. Pretty sure. I heard it on Reddit.
He
It's
read it
gotta
on
be true.
Breitbart. It's got to be true.
It was like a warming. They had like a warming center there. Yeah.
I'm really surprised that I don't take you for a guy, Gus, that would go to Barton Springs.
Well, he hasn't been since 2001.
Yeah, I haven't been in like 20 years.
I guess
so
that
that makes sense.
So I guess I'm right.
Yeah,
But
you're
it
absolutely
just
right.
like at all.
It was different. Like it being able to go there, like I hated it on the weekends because it gets so crowded. But that's why I would go. Since my weekend was Tuesday and Wednesday, it was less crowded. It was a way to just like be outside, without having to deal with a huge crowd of people yet.
Yeah.
It was just a lot easier. Plus, also, the city was like half the size back then.
I was the same way, though. I didn't go to Barton Springs from probably around then, like 2000, 2001. I think I took Millie once when she was like 3. And I don't think
Okay.
I had been until the pandemic. I started going at the tail end of the pandemic just to get out of the house again. And also once I got sober, I lost like half of the things I used to do in Austin. So I had to find new shit. And
Right.
so I started swimming again.
That makes sense. I like swimming.
It's like one of those tourist things that is the reason you move to a city, and then after you've lived in the city for a year, you never do it again.
The only time I've ever been to Barton Springs is when we went with you.
Yeah.
And it was cool. I had a good time. But what you just said about like you lived here for a year and like that shine kind of wears off, that's exactly how it feels, where it's like I don't go down to the welcome to Austin graffiti sign on the side of the building and take a picture all the time. I fucking
Yeah.
live here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You've been welcomed already. You're done. So we were talking about apartments and apartment locators and luxury apartments earlier, and it made me think about something I wanted to bring up. Years ago, when we worked at the call center, we played in a softball league. It was like a municipal softball league. The city ran it, and it was down at Krieg Field, which is like off of Pleasant Valley, just south of the river.
Yeah. So where Secret Beach is, or
yeah.
was. Yeah.
And we participated in that league for 2 years, and we never won a game. We came really close one time. We were winning, and then we blew it in the bottom of the inning, in the last inning, and we lost. But that complex back then, that softball or that baseball complex was a lot bigger.
Yeah.
There were tons of fields. Now there's only like 2 or 3. It's really reduced
Maybe
in
4.
size.
It's about half the size it was.
But
yeah.
it used to be really huge, and they bulldozed most of it to build apartments. And then for the funny thing to me was when they built those apartments, they called them the ballpark. And I feel like, yeah, if you weren't here and you don't know that's the story behind it, you wouldn't know that's why they call those apartments the ballpark. It was like the dumbest thing to me. Like, why not call it literally anything else? Because like the fields that are left aren't even really accessible from those apartments.
Yeah.
And they're tearing those down now anyway.
Are they really?
Yeah, they're all empty now. And they're going to build like mixed retail and apartments down there. So they're going to bulldoze all those apartments that have only been there for 20 years? 20 years.
If that.
No, it's been probably 20, 22 years, something like that. They haven't even been there that long. They're going to bulldoze all of them and rebuild everything there.
Across the street, like almost directly across the street from there is a place that used to be called, it was like a...
The Aquarius?
Supermercado.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and before that, it was a movie theater.
The Aquarius.
Called the Aquarius in like the... I don't think I ever saw it as a movie theater. I think it was always the Mercado when I lived here. I think the Aquarius had closed down maybe in the 90s or maybe around the time I moved here. But I always remember that movie theater because your dad and your mom went on their first date
How
there.
do you know that story?
You told me. Gus's dad and his mom, they went. Their first date was to a movie at the Aquarius in, I guess, the 70s.
Yeah.
And you told me that story 25 years ago, and I think about it every time I drive by that place.
I don't remember what movie it is that they saw, but yeah, their first date was there at that movie theater.
Yeah.
He was so indignant when you brought it up.
How do you feel your
You stole my story.
That might have been the night Gus was conceived.
Maybe.
You never know. Might have been in that theater.
Back in the 70s.
I don't know how well the date went. Across from that, there was a place called Champions.
Dude, Champions. I still don't know what they did.
I think it was a storage shed facility.
No, I think it was like home improvement stuff.
But the font made it look like the best fucking sandwich shop.
Dude, I want to eat a sandwich from Champions. I know they don't sell them, but I want to eat one.
I would drive by and get, every time I would see that red Champions sign, my mouth would water and I'd be like, I want a hoagie so bad from Champions. And they're like, yeah, we don't do that. You just store your crap here. You ever have that? Like, there was a place,
dude, I
know
know
what I'm
exactly
gonna say, right?
where you're going.
Next to Sandy's on Barton Springs.
It was like
Barton
a
Springs in
nursery or
Lamar.
something?
There's a place called the Enchanted Florist.
That was
and
it.
it was a florist, like a little glass building. And it looks like the most charming Italian restaurant. And you just want to walk in and be like, sit down at a little table with like a checkerboard and red tablecloth and just eat a big bowl of spaghetti. And they won't do it because they don't sell spaghetti because they just sell plants. And you're just like, please flip this into an Italian restaurant.
It looks like the food there would be amazing.
Amazing. Those are the two top of the list of places that aren't restaurants that I wanted to eat at in Austin.
I'm trying to look up and see what Champions was.
I can't find the sign. I looked up the sign to see if I could find it.
It was like an orange font.
It was like orange or red, yeah. Had like a big float, like a big cursive C and then Champions, but it wasn't cursive. It was like 70s.
Man, that's awesome.
I'll see if I can find it later. I don't want.
You know they made their own sweet peppers there, and they're fucking good.
They're probably so good. It's funny when you see a building that you think should be one thing and it's not. It's always a restaurant. I always see buildings where I'm like, man, I want to eat there. And it's like they don't have food there.
Hey, we talked about G&M Lounge earlier, and or GM Steakhouse rather, not G&M Lounge. We talked about G&M Lounge a while back.
GNS Lounge.
GNS Lounge. We talked about GM Lounge earlier. Fucking Christ almighty. We talked about GM Steakhouse earlier.
You're all right? Cut all that or what? What happened?
No, let's leave that in.
We got to keep the stroke on this episode.
I want my decline to be documented.
I think it already has been,
every
bud.
step of the way.
Yeah, I think we got it.
So then people can put that like later. They can go like, oh no,
Here's all the puzzle pieces. Look at how they fit.
All the warning signs were there.
How did they not do anything about it?
Yeah. It was so obvious.
Someone do something.
And I think I teased this last time, but do you want to talk about, because we are in the part of town, do you want to talk about your favorite restaurant of all time in Austin?
Which one? What?
Frisco.
Oh. I thought you were going to say Enchiladas and Mas because they're gone.
I've never been to Enchiladas.
I only went there once. It was fine. So there was a restaurant. Well, I guess you ever see those frozen dinners? God, they were popular back in like the 60s or 70s. Nighthawk frozen dinners.
Okay.
It'd be like a Salisbury steak.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, they had restaurants. Nighthawk had restaurants, and there used to be a couple of them in Austin, and I don't know if it's an Austin company or what, but I believe the last one was the Frisco. It was a Nighthawk restaurant. And years ago, before we lived here, I think back in the 70s, they were down on South Congress. Then they moved. Where were they? They moved somewhere else on Burnett. Oh, that was where the Walgreens is now, like at Burnett and 2222. Then when they built that Walgreens, they had to move, so then they moved over here kind of by, I don't know, by that Mazda dealership.
Kind of by like Leslie, if you know where Leslie's Pool is.
Yeah,
on,
right by
on
there.
Burnett.
And it was just like this old diner kind of place that served food that you you could see being a frozen meal.
Yeah.
Not that the food was bad. It's just like you could see it being packaged up and sold as a frozen meal in a grocery store. But I used to love that place. But I was worried about it because the clientele was all like 80-year-old people.
And the staff was older.
Yeah. And you would go in and I'd be like, man, I'm the only person who... I don't want to say that. It's too insensitive. You'd walk into that place and be like, man, I'm the only person who was born after World War II. And they had great pie, tons of like real great like diner food. You get like a chicken fried steak or, you know, whatever. And they were around for years, probably since the 40s, I think. And then just, when was it, like 2 years ago, maybe at the start of the pandemic, they finally like shut down. And they're gone now. That was the last, as far as I know, that was the last Nighthawk. It was called the Frisco, I think it was called the Frisco Steakhouse.
Frisco Steakhouse. Cool sign.
Yeah, they had a really cool sign. And like, I don't know, just like this great old piece of history that's just gone. Not that last location was very... They were only there for a couple of years.
I only ate there twice, and I never got it. I never liked it the way you did. You loved their pies. You always
great pie.
you were a pie advocate.
Yeah. They had like
Yeah.
a big cooler, like, you know, like at a diner, like that big refrigerated case with pies at the register. You can get like a whole pie or a slice of pie.
It was one of the last places you could go in Austin, though, and have a waitress with big hair.
Yeah.
You know? Like, where you'd like... There's like a 40% chance her name is actually Flo.
Awesome.
You know?
Yeah.
It's definitely there's not a lot of, like, I would say like Now's,
Oh, yeah.
but I don't think their diner's open anymore.
I haven't been
There
to
aren't a
Now's
lot of
in a while.
places
Yeah.
that have that foot in the past like that anymore.
Yeah.
There's a drugstore over on West Lynn in Clarksville, Eric, called Now's.
N-A-U-S.
N-A-U-S, Now's. And it is, it's just an old, just a drugstore. Like, you would go to buy orthopedics support and like a foot bath or something. And in the very back, there's a little lunch counter that serves hamburgers and shakes. And it is like, it is unchanged since I want to say the 40s or 50s.
Like you picture like a soda jerk, you know,
Yeah.
or like a dude with like a little paper hat on his head, you know, asking if you want a malted. Like that's the kind of place it was.
But
And then they would like, they had this really bad habit. I don't know if you remember this. I love Now's.
This is great.
They were great. Good people. But they had a really bad habit. Like they were very clean with that place.
yeah,
But they had a bad habit of like wiping everything down with like some kind of bleach solution.
smells terrible.
Smells terrible.
Terrible.
And it would get on the straws. Like I felt like my straw always smelled like Clorox.
They also had a bad habit of terrible fucking service. The
Yeah.
last time I tried to eat there, I think I waited 45 minutes and nobody had taken my order yet. And so I left and went to Cipollina's or whatever.
Yeah. It's like an Italian place right next door.
Yeah, right down the road. But just like the most charming, wonderful, like you feel like you're eating a burger and drinking a malted in 1948. It's a really cool experience.
Except I could sit at the counter.
Yeah, except Gus could sit at the counter here. In
A
theory,
little different.
But anyway, they had shut that thing down before I think they had staffing problems or something. They had shut it down before the pandemic. I don't know if it's come back or.
It's funny when you see places like that, like
If it will come back.
Now's and Frisco, where the clientele is all really old, the staff is all really old. You're like, oh man, I see the writing on the wall for this place. I don't know how much longer it's got. You know, like you said, 1 foot in the past, kind of stuck there for better or for worse.
Yeah.
And it's like it's not going to make that transition to whatever's next.
Yeah, I guess part of the thing about the transitory nature of the Austin populace, right, is like you've got those nostalgia restaurants that have kind of 1 foot in the past, and everybody loves them because they have these fond memories. But as those people move and new people come in and have no connection to it, and
Yeah.
it's hard to find those places if you don't know about them.
And so many new people are moving here all the time.
Yeah, and like nobody's advertising, hey, come check out this place that's been around since the 40s.
Yeah.
And so they lose their clientele and there's no way to replenish it, I guess.
It's funny. I think about that sometimes in the context of Rooster Teeth.
Okay.
And about how there's stories and history to the company that we take for granted because we've been here the whole time.
Yeah.
But the audience churns, and stuff that we may assume they know, they don't necessarily know, or stuff that's just been forgotten or lost to time.
Yeah.
Like I was thinking the other day, that's beautiful audio texture from that moped. I was thinking just the other day about how we had this big fight back in the early days. I want to say it was back like 05, 06 maybe.
Is this the fight?
No.
Okay.
We had a big fight because when we first started, we didn't have any banner ads on the website.
Yeah.
And I was very firmly against banner ads. I was like dug my heels in. I hated seeing, this is still early enough on the internet where like banner ads were really starting to proliferate, and I hated seeing banner ads on websites. I did not want them. And it was like everyone trying to argue with me and me just holding out, being like, no, absolutely, we cannot have banner ads on the website. Like, this argument went on for weeks. And finally, of course, everyone else, obviously they outweigh me. I can't be enough of an asshole to stop everyone.
You sure can try, though.
I tried.
Especially when you were younger and had more like vim and vigor in you.
Oh, God. You did not want to deal with that shit. I don't want to deal with that shit. But eventually, cooler heads prevailed, and, banner ads were introduced to the website. But there was like this carve out that we did.
Yeah.
Where we said, we're going to put banner ads on the website, but if you're, what's now a first member, if you're a sponsor on the website, you can have a banner ad on our website too. You can just submit an image you want for the banner ad and a link, and we'll manually approve them. And 10% of our banner ads will be community banner ads.
That was a great compromise.
That
by
is
the way.
a great idea.
Yeah, and
that
so
is fantastic.
We ran it that way for a long time.
Yeah, for years. Like 10% of the ads you saw were from the community for whatever, a thread on the forum that you thought was really
Or it'd be
good,
like just like happy birthday, Carl, from your best friend, Stud 62 or whatever,
Yeah, and it's like so
Great example.
Stud 62.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, tons of like really great ads, people linking to whatever. It was kind of a pain in the ass since we did have to manually look at all of them and manually approve them. But I thought it was a great compromise, and like that's the kind of thing I think that people probably don't remember anymore, or like that one of those things that's been lost to time that probably we don't even really think about anymore at this point because it's been so long.
Well, it goes into the whole like the complaint about us becoming more corporate over time and not doing stuff with and for the community anymore. But it just became a function of like the sheer volume of things. It grew so quickly that it just became impossible.
Yeah, it was already practically untenable when we launched it.
Yeah.
It was, a full-time job to go through and look at all of them and approve them on top of every other full-time job we already had.
Yeah. And then that was the shit that you were doing. I don't know about you, but it was the shit that I was doing at like 1 a.m. in bed on a Tuesday night while I couldn't sleep, you know, because it was like that was the time you had to do it.
No, time to go through the ad queue and approve them.
We talked a little bit about that in the last episode when you weren't here, was just sort of the nature of the expansion of the company and how it was started by you guys, and then it's like you don't work together anymore because the amount of stuff that you're doing for your job, you don't really like kind of interlace.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a great example of like when it's like everybody's job, it's nobody's job, and so it's a thing that everyone just kind of does, but nobody really does, and that's part of that expansion where Rooster Teeth becomes more corporate. It's really just like we're expanding.
We're just growing.
Exactly. We have so much to do that the fun thing is harder to have time for when you just have so many things that you need to get done.
Yeah.
When we were a smaller, more intimate company and we were fueled by passion.
And vim and vigor.
Well, at least Gus was full of it. I forgot my point.
All right.
I gotta cut that. I forgot where I was going with that. This is the part of the decline.
This is it.
Get it
We
on
have it.
camera.
I was gonna make a note to cut, but I think we should keep it in.
You should absolutely keep that in. But yeah, there's a lot of things like that, and I've been trying to think of points to hit, like stuff that may be forgotten, stuff that we should talk about or discuss, especially now with the added bonus of more time. Maybe we can look back on some of those stories and expand on them or talk more about them.
I think
I'm hesitant to talk about this, and you can stop me.
Okay.
And we can cut this, absolutely, if you want to. But the time that our website got erased on Christmas Eve.
No. Why would we cut that?
Okay. We, when we were a much smaller company, we were in the one-bedroom apartment down in Buda. We had all this stuff going on, like, for example, the approving the banner ads and whatnot. So we relied heavily on, like, community moderators, like on the forums and everything to help kind of make sure everything was going in an okay direction. And we were, I forget what it was. It was December. It was like the 23rd or the 24th of December. And we were like crunching to finish an episode because we were like, once we finish this episode of Red versus Blue, we'll be able to take a couple days off and, have like a mini Christmas break. And we were like finishing up the episode. And then Gavin starts IMing us and is like, hey, something's wrong with the website. Stuff's getting deleted. I don't know what's happening. And we go and we look, and one of our moderators had just like lost it and like had figured out how to go in and delete everything on the website.
And lock all of us out.
And locked us all out. And it was such a fucking nightmare.
Gavin saved the company that night.
Yeah, he did. Gavin managed to like get in there and then lock the other person out partway through as like all this stuff was happening. And the other person who did all this was like, I just did it for a laugh, whatever. You all have backups. It's no big deal. It was a huge big deal. Because again, we weren't a giant company with like all of this automated. It's like, no, now I have to sit down and go through our backups and figure out what has been deleted, what hasn't been deleted, try to merge this database, like find all of this shit. Like it was like another day or two of work to get everything back online. It's like, it's not LOL, it's funny. Like now I don't have Christmas this year.
Yeah.
Because I have to fucking fix this shit that happened. It was such a betrayal of trust.
Oh, that was brutal.
An exploitation of like this bug in the website that existed where, you know, that person was able to do that. And I've never forgotten. I'm still so fucking angry about that. Like, you want to talk about vim and vigor, Gus? I still get so fucking angry.
Well, yeah, no, that really hurt us. It really hurt our company, and it was somebody that we trusted, who we had placed a lot of faith into because we thought they were cool, you know? Yeah. And that was a bummer. You know, you were talking about like losing Christmases. That reminds me, and kind of the point I was going to go with, which was I remembered what I got lost in, is people like kind of lament that time when we touched everything, but it was killing us, right?
Absolutely.
And I remember I realized that finally when we hired Emily McBride, who was our first store manager, because I had run the store for the first like 7 years of the company, I guess. Yeah. And like I was thinking, you're talking about Christmas jogged this memory. That next year was a big year for us. The year after that incident you're talking about, that Christmas, I remember I went to my wife's family's house for Christmas. It was my first Christmas I'd spent with them. And on Christmas Eve, I took my phone number used to be the store customer service number. Mm-hmm. I took 107 calls on Christmas Eve related to the store. Oh. And I remember being like, trying to get Gus and Bernie and everybody to help me, and they're like, yeah, it's your job, buddy. We're doing our stuff. And I was like, I got it. And then they were all like scattered to the wind. They wouldn't have been able to help anyway because I was just so buried. And I remember thinking like, I can't do this anymore. Like we can't make, this is unsustainable. And then eventually we hired Emily, and not only did it lift that burden, which allowed me to make Achievement Hunter, right? Like that was really a big switch. Like I was starting to make Achievement Hunter, and then when that burden got lifted, it really allowed us like hours of the day for creativity that we didn't have before. And she also did it better.
Yeah.
She is great.
Than I ever could have.
Yeah.
Like instantly. And I realized that was one of the first moments where I realized in the company, like letting go of some stuff is okay, because it was killing me. And like you get to when you're running the business of the company, and if the company is an entertainment company, the two are incongruent, and you can't, like what happens is you spend 9 out of 10 hours running all of that shit, dealing with the website stuff, dealing with the store, dealing with back end, dealing with accounting and taxes and brand deals and sales and all of those other things. And at no point are you making the product that you're selling, right? That you're trying to get people excited about. And when you do, oftentimes you have to like, switching gears is very difficult, at least for me, to go from like pragmatic business mode to creative mode. And I know a lot of people like lamented that feeling of us like relinquishing a little bit of control over every little thing, but it really did finally free us up to start doing stuff like create an entire broadcast department, which Gus did. You know, all of that stuff was born out of us finally, after 7 or 8 years of just having like an iron grip on everything.
Or even more like an even more healthy thing, being able to take time off.
Yeah, being able to take time
off. To step away. Like you talked about your Christmas Eve thing. When I got married, I took like a week off for my honeymoon. I had my sidekick at the time. I was still logging into the servers and fixing shit nonstop the entire time I was out of office that week. It's like I had to keep the website up, had to keep things running. It was a shit show for me. My Emily McBride was Adam Baird. When we finally hired Adam Baird, I was like, thank God, someone who can do this and who is way better at this than me.
Right. Who still works with us.
Yeah.
Who worked with us probably, I don't know, one of the 4 or 5 best hires in the history of the company.
Oh, absolutely.
Both times.
Yeah.
Because he left and then came back.
Yeah.
Thank God. Yeah, and also just one of the best human beings you'll ever get to spend time with. Mm-hmm. Just a phenomenal person.
Absolutely.
And I think that's one of the things it's kind of a bummer about Rooster Teeth, as we became the faces of the company because we were the company, but then at some point we became the faces of the company, and you don't necessarily see the people behind the scenes that are working and toiling and Rooster Teeth is only around 19 and a half years after day one because of people like Emily McBride, who's gone on to bigger and better things now, but who gave us a really tremendous amount of work and really built that department into what it is now that Geoff Yetter's running and doing a phenomenal job with. Geoff Yetter's another huge star of the company that people don't see. There's so many hardworking, committed, dedicated, really inventive, creative, talented people that work at Rooster Teeth that the audience has no understanding of.
Yeah, but how come you didn't? You should sell me the shirt.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
What do you have to say?
Getting all uppity.
So what do you have to say about to defend yourself in Secret Gus? Is there anything you have to say about Secret Gus?
Secret Gus was like peak Gus. I have no apologies because they're not necessary. There's no need to defend Secret Gus. Secret Gus is the best of us. Everyone should aspire to have that level. Listen, when you treat everything as a secret, nobody knows what's really a secret and what isn't.
It definitely made friendship with Gus befuddling at times.
Listen, I wish I had the energy to still keep that kind of stuff up because I thought that was great. Just treat everything like it's the utmost secret. Then no one knows what your real secrets are.
Maddening.
The real secret is he has no secrets.
That might be it. See? It's brilliant.
So your defense of Secret Gus is that it's peak Gus.
It's brilliant. There is no need to defend. There is no defense. It's not necessary.
I agree.
I've always been like whenever we film live action stuff or whenever we do stuff for the company, I've never been shy about like taking my clothes off or being the fool or being the asshole or whatever, because like for the most part, I try to do this as much as possible. Where it's like I don't let anything I've done embarrass me.
Yeah.
And I think we used to say this back when we both drank and we'd go out and we'd be assholes in public, and people would ask like, "Oh, aren't you embarrassed about the things you did while you were drunk the other night?" Like, no, I did it. Whatever.
Yeah.
Like I'm just gonna own the things that I do and not feel shame about them. I was a very You'll never believe this. I was very awkward when I was young. And I was always very embarrassed about a lot of things. So then I think I reached a point in my life in my early 20s where I said, I'm just going to own it all. There's no point in being embarrassed. Like, I am who I am. If people don't like it, fuck them. Who cares? Like, I'm just going to own all the things I do. And that's me. Mm-hmm. And I think that's Secret Gus is a side effect of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. It's fantastic.
I just count myself lucky that I get to spend time with any Gus. I'll take him in any form I get him.
Secret or not.
Old,
Classified.
boring, classified, lame, Hawaiian shirt Gus, like whatever it is, I'll take it.
Woo!
This is episode 13, and you guys can take it away.
Is that a bad omen? Do you believe in bad luck numbers or superstitions or anything like that?
Yeah, man.
You do?
Yeah, sure.
So is this episode cursed?
No.
I feel like you're a guy who has 13 tattooed on him somewhere.
I'll be honest with you, Eric. I have no idea. I'm trying to go through all my tattoos in my head right now. I don't know. I don't think so, but maybe it's possible.
It just feels like it's probably like on a tombstone and there's like a crow.
Yeah.
He was
what I mean?
He was a big fan of the cell-shaded first-person shooter 13,
Yeah, 13.
from
Was a
the
big
year
13 guy.
2001.
Yeah, absolutely. You just seem like a guy who like didn't listen to Social Distortion, but the aesthetic really stuck with you for a minute.
I didn't like their rockabilly shit, but I liked their first album.
There you go.
You
There
know?
you go. Yeah, it tracks.
I liked like Atom Bomb and all that stuff.
I think that shit's not Social Distortion. I think that superstition shit is all stupid. Like you get in an elevator and there's no number 13. Like what does it matter? There's still a 13th floor.
It's
just
fun.
It's just no. It's not.
It adds
it is
flavor.
not.
It
No.
adds flavor to life.
No.
It makes things just a little bit more interesting.
No,
Yes,
it doesn't.
does.
It makes
It
things.
does.
It makes things confusing.
That's fun. Confusion is fun. I'd rather be a little confused once in a while.
There's no reason a number should be scary. A number does not dictate your life. Ooh, the number 1, then the number 3 is right behind it. It's gonna get you. No.
I think there's a lot of really somber ways a number could be scary, and appropriately so.
We went to Dear Diary Coffee today, which there really wasn't a place to record. So we went around the corner. What's this, Chestnut Pocket Park? Yeah. Chestnut Park. When we pulled up, I was really excited because there were like a bunch of city employees like cutting the grass and with like leaf blowers and stuff. I thought we were going to get some great audio texture, but right as we started recording, they left. However, there's a beautiful fountain
There is,
right next
there
to us that
is.
hopefully it gets like a little babbling brook, or hopefully you can hear it. I don't even know if it'll pick up on the audio.
Let me.
We got it.
Oh, you
Yeah,
got
we
it?
definitely got it.
You got some room tone?
Yeah. Thanks, Dennis.
Let me ask you a question.
All right.
How many times have you driven by this park?
Oh, I don't know. Hundreds?
Hundreds of
Yeah.
times, minimum.
Yeah.
Is this the first time you've ever stepped
That's
foot in
my
it?
first time I've ever stepped foot in it.
Oh, really?
I had a feeling.
It's tiny.
Yeah.
It's not very big at all. Have you been here before? You have like
No.
okay,
No,
you had
I
kind of
don't
like
think
an
I've ever been
uppity way
here
you
either.
said that.
No. I don't. I was thinking it for the same reason. Like, I don't think. I mean, unless I was gonna throw a kid's birthday party outside, I don't know what else this would be good for.
Yeah, there's like a plaque over there. I guess its park is dedicated to someone.
Probably.
I don't know. There's like a bunch of playscapes. I've never been here. One of many pocket parks. I used to live kind of close. I'm hesitant to say it because I don't want to like
Right. You don't want out.
out where I lived or any of these stories were, but I lived by like a little pocket park for a while, and the neighbors were always so proud of it.
Are you talking about that long, skinny pocket park? That was you and I lived in a similar, in
Yeah.
the same neighborhood. That was the sorriest excuse for a fucking park
It was
I
awful.
have ever seen.
Everyone
in my
was
entire life.
always so proud of it, and it was like it's like half of someone's front yard.
It would be, Eric, like as if you mowed a 60-foot length of the side of the interstate next to a bunch of pine trees, right? And then you mowed it 3 mowers wide, 60 feet long, and then called it a park.
Why? Why did they do that?
Because they loved it. Because it was awesome. It was the best park in Austin. It was so stupid, dude. I don't know.
It sucked.
It was terrible.
It feels like it's a new coffee shop. Like that's a place that like just opened in some new building.
Well, yeah, that building was not there
And
3 years ago.
Why I wanted to bring you
We're
guys here.
really close to my friend's house where his neighbor sold drugs off his front porch. I
Yeah.
pointed it out as we drove by. We told that story here on this podcast a couple episodes ago.
What was the place that was where? So Rio Rita is the new iteration of Rio Rita is right down the road.
It's up over that way, yeah.
I'm not sure if it's still open. I think it might have actually closed down again. I'm not honestly. It was like I know like Randall, the dude that owned it. He moved to Mexico and started a business down there and got out of Austin. Sold like his
Did
30
he call
bars.
it Rita River?
He might have. And then I think Maggie, the lady that owned what's that place?
Maggie Mays?
No, the place on East 6th.
Maggie Mays?
I can't think of it. And it moved to the other fuck. This is going to be unlistenable. Anyway, a lady that you don't know bought Rio Rita, and then I think it went under again. I'm not sure if it's back up or not. But
Jeff's processing. His mouth is slightly
I'm just
agape.
wondering if you I forgot what I was going to say.
One time I was driving down Chicon over here, close to where Dear Diary is. I was driving southbound on Chicon, pulling up to the light there at 12th, and I looked over to my right, and there was a bar there. I think it might be where Dear Diary is now, somewhere right around there. Maybe in a building that doesn't exist anymore. I looked over to my right, and there was a bar, and there were people. It was evening. I think the sun had just set, and the bar was filled with people who were all sitting around drinking, but there were no lights on inside the bar. It was like pitch black inside the building, but I could kind of still see that there were people in there sitting down drinking.
Yeah.
And it was like, what is this place? They don't even have lights.
I want to point out that Geoff is in podcast mode where he's looking something up, not listening to a word that you're saying, but he can hear the cadence where he'll politely
Right.
make a noise where he goes, "That's my cue," and then keep going.
I knew he was in that mode. That's why I told this story. It's like,
you
that
did-
story's not
I
going
had to,
anywhere.
a great
I had
job.
to
It's a time filler.
unfuck my brain because I got lost in the trying to figure out. I got lost in bar names.
I got you.
I was listening to you. It's the place that you drove by. Everybody was drinking, but the lights were out. It was
Yeah.
creepy. It's weird. That reminds me of a lot of what East 6 was like in East Cesar Chavez, like
Yeah.
in the early mid 90s. I was going to say that we're very close to across from where Rio Rita is now. Was next to directly across the street from that place was a bar called the Fresh Up Club. And you
Oh,
remember
yeah.
that sign was there
Yeah, yeah,
forever?
yeah.
I think it's finally gone.
Is it gone now?
Well, I think they turned it into a condo, and the sign is a part of the new condo now.
Cool.
But that was like an
That's
iconic.
That's New Austin.
New Austin, yeah, right. That was an iconic sign for many, many, many years, and that Fresh Up Club was always popping off when I would drive by it before they bulldoze it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same. So there was a story that we've kind of alluded to a couple of times in this podcast that we never really circled back on, and I always kind of wanted to follow up on it.
Okay.
It was the time someone tried to rob the call center in the middle of the night.
What?
Yeah.
So, going back to the call center, which we covered in an earlier episode.
But we could do probably
We
4
could
or
do-
5 episodes just on the call
I think we
center.
could do a whole podcast on that call
Probably
center.
could, yeah.
But
I think that's mostly what this podcast probably is.
there was, speaking of which, we had an ANMA animated adventure about Jeff Destroys Bowling.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
yeah.
We
Just
got
came out.
animated. That's fun.
But so it was a 24-hour call center. However, the calls really dropped off, overnight. So midnight shift was 1, maybe 2 people.
Cheer Up Charlie's.
No, okay, Cheer Up Charlie's. There you go.
Thanks.
You remembered.
That was the bar. Sorry.
Awesome.
They so since this particular night where we're telling the story, there was only one person working, and it was I believe it was the 12 a.m. to 7 a.m. shift, if I'm remembering right.
Yeah.
Or 11 to 7, something like that. Anyway, the way it worked was there was to get into the building, there was a door with a little keypad, and you would punch in your employee ID to get in. And do you still remember your employee ID from back then, Jeff?
No.
I do. It's my ATM pin.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow, really?
Yeah, and I can say that because
To
who's
this
gonna
day?
fucking remember
Yeah.
my employee number from back then. Anyway, you would punch in your employee number, the door would open, you go in and work or whatever. And we showed up to work one morning, and the dude who was working the midnight shift told us that someone had tried to rob the place while he was there by himself overnight. And we were like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, I was working. Then I thought I heard someone in the break room, and I came out, and there were 2 guys unplugging a bunch of computers and monitors and trying to walk out with them. So I yelled at them, and they took off."
Do you remember that dude? Do you remember who it was?
Yeah, I do.
We can say his name, right?
You're-
Carmelo was his first name.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
He was a nice guy.
Let's say with the first name.
Really nice guy. Really liked him.
And we were like, "What the hell? That's really weird. How did they get in here?" So we looked through the logs of who logged in. It's oh, someone put their employee number in to come in and rob the place. Someone that we just hired a week ago showed up to
And then
rob the place.
what? So then we confronted him, and they were like, "I don't know what you're talking about."
But it turns out it wasn't actually that employee. We looked at the surveillance, but we figured out it was that employee's friend who he had told the number to so they could show up and rob the place. And that friend is in prison now.
Might be out. Probably not though.
So questionable. I don't know how much detail we want to get into him. We heard and found out some of the weirdest, strangest stories about that person and the crimes that they would commit around Austin. Just brazen, awful crimes.
Oh, my God.
And I'm hesitant to say too much because if he's out of prison, I don't want him to come after me.
I'm gonna preface this by saying he was a pretty genuinely sweet guy, but
But the things I heard about him,
did terrible stuff.
in meeting him and interacting with him.
I don't think he ever had
fine.
any animosity. Just did dumb shit, and just was one of those people that thought they could get away with anything, so they did.
Yeah.
And then all at once it caught up.
Oh, that's... Oh.
A lifetime of getting away with stuff, I suspect, or getting into trouble but being able to get out of it through charisma
Yeah.
or whatever, or being clever. And then finally one day you pushed it too hard, too far.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And that day was when they tried to steal the Dreamcast games. No, they got away. They got away with that, and admitted to us years later.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, it was totally me and my buddy." I'm like, "Yeah, we had the surveillance.
knew it
camera."
was.
And they were like, "Oh, I didn't think about surveillance camera."
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It's just that level of ballsiness and brazenness to just go in. You're putting in a unique identifier. It's not this is a general number that everyone shares to get into this building. It was just
So funny.
absolutely nuts to me. Anyway, I just wanted to circle back on that because that's always such a strange story to me, and I feel like a couple of people have asked about it.
Yeah.
Since we've been doing this podcast. But you and I I look back on some of the things that we've done and some of the experiences we've had in Austin over the years. Not like we've been perfect angels the entire time. And I think back about some of the things we've done, and it's these are things I would never do now.
Of course
and
not.
things that, despite Secret Gus and despite owning everything that you do, things that were genuinely bad that people should not do.
Right.
Yeah.
I think about the time that we got involved with Klepto Club.
Yeah, I don't recommend anyone follow anything I did from my childhood into my mid-30s.
Yeah.
And I don't know that we need to talk about it.
You want to talk about it? Okay, we don't have to talk about it. Just yeah, you can draw
The world has changed so much.
You can
fast.
You can fill in the details in your mind. It's probably better than what actually happened.
Wow.
But yeah, it's funny. I think back to when there was a big hubbub in the early to mid '90s when was it Charles Barkley said that thing about I'm not a role model.
Yeah.
And like he got like ripped apart.
He
I think in the
he
media
did.
for that. But I get it. It's like maybe you're in his case he was playing basketball. In our case, we were doing nothing. We were fucking losers in our 20s.
We were just bored kids looking to have fun.
Yeah, trying to
with
trying
no
to cause
malicious
problems.
intent.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds very familiar.
Does it?
Isn't that what you just said about the other guy?
No.
Okay.
Maybe. Is it?
Yes.
Maybe.
It's gonna be wild playback here on this episode. This is Jeff's not all here, man.
I've had a long couple weeks.
I hear. Just sit back, enjoy the ride. Here for a little bit of podcasting. We we talked a couple weeks ago about how during lunch when we worked at the call center, during lunch we would go down to the airport sometimes and eat like Salt Lick or whatever, before 9/11. And that made me think about something else we used to do sometimes during our lunch back when we worked at that call center. It was relatively new back then, but that Blazer Tag place had opened up down in South Austin.
Yeah.
Off of Ben White, like just west of 35. And sometimes instead of eating lunch, during the summer, we would go over to Blazer Tag and just play laser tag for like 30 or 40 minutes and just like beat the shit out of middle schoolers at laser tag and then go back to work.
Dude, they had monthly rankings. They had like a monthly leaderboard and we would try so hard. And there was like 1,000 people on it. And we wanted to be in the top. And I don't think we ever cracked top 50.
We didn't go consistent enough was our problem.
There were some good ass laser taggers out there too.
But it was we had like strategies, we had like code names for each of the different locations, and like we got really, really into laser tag for a while.
We probably went 4 or 5 days a week for like 2 or 3 months before we got burned out on it. Yeah.
Did we ever take anyone else with us? I can't remember if we took anyone else or if it was just you and me the whole time.
I think it was just you and I.
It was just the two of you rolling up 4 or 5 days a week to play laser tag?
Yeah.
Were there enough people to warrant that?
That's why we would have to go in the summer.
Yeah.
The kids weren't in school. You couldn't do it during the school year.
It was seasonal, man.
September, October rolls around, you go, well, so much for that pack it in.
Yeah.
What?
Ski lifts closed. Yeah.
I don't know how we would do a blazer tag episode.
I don't know.
Is there anything really? There might be a coffee shop or something down around there.
There probably is. There's radios over there.
There'd be really if we did it in Blazer Tag, we get some really good audio texture.
Oh man,
that place is so loud.
It is so loud. I've been one time and it was like having a headache for 4 hours.
You know what else we used to do around that time frame? I think it predates the laser tag a little bit, and it's kind of I guess one of the ways we all cemented a friendship with Bernie would be after work, just walking out into the woods behind T&I and shooting each other with paintball.
Oh my God, what?
We wanted to get into paintball, but we were scared it was going to hurt.
Yeah.
So it's like we got one gun, and then we're like, let's all take turns shooting each other to see how much it hurts, and if it's okay, then we'll get into this.
Yeah. And then so for a couple months, we just ran around the woods at T&I, of which there aren't a lot. It's just like there's trash trees between warehouses.
There might be none now.
Yeah, it's probably all gone now. And just shot each other. And now I can't imagine.
I don't think we even had helmets or face masks.
I don't think so. Not initially.
We just had a rule like don't shoot each other in the face, which is pretty hard to do with like paintballs are unwieldy.
And then we found out about a paintball event in Houston. And so we went for the weekend and was it like Houston or Conroe or somewhere around there?
It was like northwest of Houston.
Okay.
I remember you exited on Mangum Road.
Mangum Road. That's right. We made a lot of Mangum jokes that weekend. And so we went and it was this like 3-day paintball event that had like paintball till like 3 a.m. And so we got to like assault bases.
It would go
like,
on all night.
Yeah.
There was no stop. It was I don't know if you remember this. It was StarCraft themed.
Yeah, it was.
So there were 3 teams, and like depending on what team you were on, you could have like different quote unquote abilities and different things you could do. Yeah. And at one point, I don't know if you remember, they had a tank.
Yes.
Like a paintball tank. I believe it was actually what they call. I think the term for it was a ferret. Was like the type of vehicle it was.
I don't know how you remember that.
And it had like machine gun paintball turrets on the top of it. And it was like, if you saw it, you was like, oh, you had to run and hide because that thing was going to fuck you up.
Yeah, it was insane to play, like, run through the woods at like 4 a.m. and sneak onto bases and stuff. But
I'll never forget, at one point, I think you, me, and Bernie were out there in the middle of the night, like, on our bellies, like army crawling through like a bunch of brush.
Yeah.
And it was pitch black. It was, like you said, it must have been 3 or 4 in the morning. You're not really in Houston. You're out in the woods. And like sitting like in the field next to someone, you could barely see them next to you. And I remember all three of us kind of turned to each other like, hey, it's really dark. Do you think they can see us? And right at that moment, someone on the other team fired a flare up into the sky.
What?
And then it was like, I can see everything. They can see us. Oh no!
Oh no!
we got lit up.
Like start running like crazy. I'll never forget like turning and looking at you guys and like that flashing red light just reflecting off of everything. Like, oh my god, we're in for it now. God, and yeah, we got lit up.
It was a ton of fun, and then we stuck around just a little bit too long at the end, and I got to see like an award ceremony, and a dude cried, and there was I just got too much of the camaraderie of the people that were playing paintball, and I don't know how else to say it other than I was just like, it's not my scene.
Yeah, no, I get it.
And I never went back.
Yeah,
and I don't know if y'all did either. After that,
that
was it for me.
This is the ferret, by the way.
Oh, Gus looked up the ferret for us.
Yeah, so it's a ferret tank. You can Google it yourself.
It looks like something from StarCraft. I mean, if that helps.
So you never went back, but I went back a couple of times. I always thought it was a lot of fun.
To the paintball event?
Yeah.
You went back to the paintball event?
Yeah. In fact, I don't know if you remember. Maybe you were done with it by this point, Geoff. But at least Bernie and I went back, and we went with our friend who worked at Bungie at the time. He flew. Yeah, he probably beeped the name.
Yeah.
Got it.
We went with our friend who worked at Bungie at the time. He flew down and went to one of those events with us down there in Houston.
Yeah, I had a vague memory that you guys continued doing it for a while, but I was that was done. I was done.
But yeah, I loved that kind of stuff. In fact, I don't know if you remember this also. Someone had automated paintball turrets that had motion sensors attached to them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's like they set them up all around their base. So it's like you had to have distractions to distract the motion sensors. That way the gun would look, or the turret would look in one direction and you could advance from the other. It was a whole deal. People were spent a lot of money and a lot of time making shit for this event, and they were really into it.
Took it very seriously too.
Meanwhile, we showed up with the cheapest guns, the cheapest markers we could buy at Academy,
spiders or whatever. Yeah. I was thinking the other day about a lot of the stories and stuff that we've told have been about basically since we met in Austin.
Yeah.
But I had this. I kind of fell in love with Austin. I mean, I talked about it, I think, briefly from watching a Richard Linklater movie. But I first moved to Austin when I was joining the Army, and I was stationed at Fort Hood, just north of here in Killeen. And I was trying to remember if I could remember the day, my first experience with Austin. And I remembered the first time I ever came to Austin. And I didn't realize it until last night when I was thinking about it, but it's kind of a crazy story. Mm-hmm. I joined the Army to be a journalist, and I went to basic training in South Carolina, and then I went to a journalism school in Indiana that is no longer there. It was called Fort Benjamin Harrison. And then after that, I was stationed to Fort Hood, which is where I asked because of the Richard Linklater movie. So then I get to Austin, or rather Fort Hood, and I go through in processing, and I'm in temporary housing and stuff, and then I'm done, free. And this is the first time I've been free in 8 months.
Oh.
How
old were you?
I was 18, almost 19. Yeah, I was 18. And so, there was no drill sergeant, no instructor, nobody.
When you say free, you mean you can live your downtime life?
I mean, I got on a bus and they dropped me off at Fort Hood, and then I went in and I in-processed and I put my stuff. I signed a bunch of paperwork, and they said, this is your bunk for the next week until we figure out what to do with you. And they put me there, and then they said, okay, we'll see you tomorrow.
Oh,
and I was just I don't know what to do with freedom. I hadn't had that at all, People had been telling me what to do 24 hours a day. And so I was I was in civilian clothes. I was just some idiot punk rocker kid, right? and probably like a Black Flag T-shirt on or something. And I walk outside, and it's I'm hit with Fort Hood and the desert of it all, and or the scrub rush of it all, and just fucking army dudes everywhere. And that was already a difficult thing with me, the army. I wasn't a very army guy, but I was in the army, you know? And so I just start walking down the street, and I'm walking down the median between the streets just looking for a like Burger King or something. And I hear the sound of a skateboard, and I turn around, and some punk rock kid skates up to me, and he goes, "Hey, man, what's up?" And I go, "Not much, what's up with you?" And he goes, "I'm Jason." And I go, "Oh, cool, I'm Geoff." And he goes, "Hey, did you hear Kurt Cobain died?" And I go, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah, he died today." And I was like, "Are you serious?" Yeah,
What?
It was like April 5th
So you
or
can
6th.
pinpoint the exact date.
Yeah, that's kind of how I remember it.
What?
So he goes, "Yeah, man, he's dead." And I was like, "Oh, cool." And he goes, "You want to go skate with me?" And I was like, "Well, I don't have a board." And he's like, "Yeah, we'll share mine." And so we went off and we skated, and we're still friends, by the way, to this day. I still text him all the time. I have a million terrible stories.
I
about him.
had no idea that's how you met him.
Yeah, that's how I met him.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
What?
He introduced me to my first wife.
Wow.
Yeah, they were high school
And you're
friends.
still friends.
And we're still, our friendship has survived somehow. Anyway, so then I hang out with him for a while, and he's just like, he's a loose cannon out of control, but I'm like, this kid's in the army, I'm going to be fine. Because like this kid's, because I was worried about like, how am I going to handle being in the army?
Yeah.
So he was an army guy too?
Yeah, he was an army guy too.
Oh. Okay.
He eventually got kicked out.
I'm
I will say this about he had a lot of chances before they kicked him out.
I'm surprised that never happened to you.
You know, I was pretty with it.
Yeah, no. This army never seemed kind of your scene.
Yeah. Well, so anyway, I hang out with him all day, and then he goes, "Hey, you want to go to Austin?" And I go, "Yeah, I think so." So we go to Austin.
So by this point, you'd never been. You just
I'd
heard
never
of it, like
been.
from the
I had only seen it from
movies
from Slacker. And we go to Austin, and we go to eat at Starseeds. It's the first place I ever ate in Austin.
Love Starseeds.
My favorite restaurants to this day. And then he goes, "You want to go to a strip club?" And I was like, "I've never been to a strip club. Can we? Are we old enough?" And he was like, "Yeah, you can get in with it if you're 18." And I remember he took me to a strip club I'd never been before, and they put a bright orange shirts on us to say that we were young.
Okay.
And we sat down, and he asked, and then I'll just say this. I was in the strip club for 11 minutes before we got kicked out.
Oh my God.
God.
My first day in Austin
around?
was Kurt Cobain's death. I don't remember which strip club
Okay.
it was. I think it might have been Crazy Lady, but I'm not positive.
Okay. Which is now called Chicas Bonitas.
It was so long ago, but I don't think it was. I think it was somewhere. It doesn't sit right in my head in terms of location. But so anyway, I had no experience in them. And so my first experience with Austin was the day that Kurt Cobain died, my first day of freedom in like 8 months in the army. And I literally was paralyzed with not knowing what to do because nobody was yelling at me.
Wow.
First time at a strip club, and then got kicked out, like forcibly kicked out very quickly, not because of me, because I was sitting next to my friend Jason, who was giving me a preview of the next 20 years of friendship.
Did they let you keep the orange shirts?
No, I don't remember.
Damn.
I don't. I think they made him take them off probably.
That'd be a good one to have.
I would have kept the
like,
shit out of that shirt. Yeah.
Because it would be a good one to wear now and go and be like, I'm underage.
Yeah. He just, the first stripper that walked up to him, she was like, "Hey, how are you doing?" And he goes, "Are you pregnant?"
Oh.
And she goes, "Get him." And that was it. We were gone.
Oh my God.
And that was it. And then we took drove back to Austin, or back to Colleen. And that was my first day in Austin.
April 5th, 1994.
It was the 5th or the 6th. It was either the day he died or the day after. It was the day I found out.
So funny.
Just for reference for people who aren't from the area, Colleen's what, like an hour and a half drive away?
Yeah,
2 hours
about
maybe?
little over 90 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. Just like
north.
like pretty much
Northwest.
due north and like a smidge west.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Man, that's an eventful first time in Austin. I can't well, I was born here. I can't remember the first time I came to Austin.
Yeah, I was amazed I was able to. It was when I thought about the Kurt Cobain thing that I went like, "Oh right, this all happened on that day," and I was able to remember it.
My parents have pictures of me like in a stroller at Hancock Center.
Are you serious?
Yeah, from like the late 70s. Yeah, but it looked very different back then.
Dude,
obviously.
we got to get that for the podcast.
I'll see if I can find it. I think my mom's gonna visit sometime soon. I'll ask her if she can dig it up and bring it.
You spent a lot of time in Austin when you were out in like the army and everything?
Oh, yeah. So it was about an hour and a half, and I had a little Mazda pickup truck. And so I would get off work. You had to report to PT at 7:30. and then you were off work at 6. So by about 6:15, I was headed to Austin, Monday through Sunday.
Right.
And then I would go to Starseeds because it was 24 hours and it was cheap.
Do you want to sidetrack and tell a quick Starseed story?
Oh, do it, please.
Yeah.
We used to go to Starseeds all the time.
Okay.
24-hour diner. Mm-hmm. Oh, that reminds me.
I think by the way, if you go there and it says Stars Cafe and it doesn't say Starseeds, I don't care. It's always been Starseeds.
You guys are the reason that I actually went there. Like hearing you guys tell stories about that, I always wanted to go. So it's like I went. I took my wife and she just went, "What is this?" And I went, "I think I love this place."
Yeah.
It's changed hands. There was a brief period of time where they served Mediterranean food. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, that part wasn't great.
It's gone through a few iterations over the years, but it was a 24-hour diner. There's a few of them around town. There's also like Kirby and Magnolia.
Kirby.
I've never really was a Kirby or Magnolia person. I always liked Starseeds more.
Same.
But it was it was one of the few 24-hour places. So like inevitably when the bars closed, everyone congregated at one of those places, and we would always go to Starseeds. And I remember one time, I think it was you, me, your first ex-wife, and someone else. I want to say it was maybe John. We all went to Starseeds.
John.
Yeah. You
Sorry,
bleep that last name.
but yeah.
Jesus.
We all went to Starseeds. And
We should talk about him someday.
We should. And we went in to get a table, and we saw Lance in there by himself. He was like sitting in that big circular table that was in the corner, and we're like, "Oh, like we don't have to wait. Can we just sit with him?" I don't know why he was in that table, but like that huge booth by himself. So we went in and sat with him, and he was wasted. Like he was drunk off his ass, and I was pretty drunk too. And for some reason, we got into like a hot sauce eating competition. I don't know if you remember this. And by the end, like it was just me and Lance chugging Tabasco sauce. And I remember waking up the next morning with the worst stomach ache.
This guy, I wonder whatever happened to Lance. Lance was he was a fun kid. He worked at the call center with us, and he knew The Simpsons better than any other human being on Earth.
He had an evil Homer tattoo.
He wore
cool.
in the mid 90s. He wore silk Simpsons button-up shirts 7 days a week.
Dude, it was
all
awesome.
he owned. He had like every version they ever made, and that was his entire wardrobe. And he played a character in RVB.
He did. He was
in season 1. He's Private Mickey.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's true.
he's the one that got beat.
This doesn't seem physically possible.
Doesn't seem physically possible.
Yeah, beaten to death with his own skull. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That was just a quick.
Or was that John?
No. That was Lance.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh wait, no.
No.
That was John who played that character, but Lance was also in that episode.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, I'm sorry. You were talking about coming down, going to Starseeds.
Oh.
I totally derailed you. That's my fault.
No, that's fine. And then so I would come down. I would eat at Starseeds. Sometimes just like French fries, if that was what I could swing. They don't pay the soldiers well. And then I would go to Emo's. And then I would just see whoever played. Emo's had bands 7 days a week, and I would just go. So I went to Emo's. I say without hyperbole, 6 days a week.
Wow.
For 3.5 years,
Oh my
but
God.
like maybe the best 3.5 years in that bar's history.
That's like
94 to 97.
97? Jesus Christ.
Like when I first started going,
This is back when Emo's was on Red River.
it was
before
in its original
Riverside.
location on Red River, not on Riverside now, which is where the Backspace used to be.
Back room.
Backroom, sorry. Backspace is a great pizza place though. When I first went, it was 18 and up, and it was $3 to get in if you were 18, and it was free if you were 21 and up. And it was for all bands, and like any band that played, like you never had to pay extra money to go in.
Wow.
And so I always thought that was so cool. And so the year I turned 21, like I turned 21 in June, I want to say like in April or May, I think it was like April, they changed it to an all ages club.
Oh.
And then just made it $5 to get in, and then $3 if you were 21, I think. And I was like, God
Inflation.
damn it. And I was like months away from going to free punk shows. And then they fucking changed it. And then it just became like you pay to get in, whatever, eventually. But it was like, yeah, so I would go like 6 days a week. So I saw a million shows. The first show I ever went to at Emo's was a punk show with a local Austin band, and I'll never forget it because it was an all-girl band, and they were really, really cool and really good. And I kind of fell in love with the lead singer immediately. And then I was in the pit later for this band Unsane. It was a fucking great band. I fell backwards, and I grabbed onto something, and I just held onto something to steady myself, and I turned around, and I had just grabbed her full boob.
Oh my God.
And she just looked at me, and I had her boob in my hand, and I went like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." And she just laughed at me and hugged me and went on her way. And I was just like trying to catch myself, and it was the most mortifying moment of my life. But she was very sweet about it, and I was hooked on emos at that point. But yeah, so then I would just go like I was here constantly. There was a Air Force Base, where Bergstrom Air Force Base, which is where the airport is now. You could, in the military, you can stay in any military base for $10 a night. So I don't know if that's the case now, but there was a little hotel, and so I would go and stay at like the Air Force Days Inn or whatever
Is that what
for
the,
$10 a night.
The Hilton is now?
No, I think it's all. I think that's all new construction. Yeah, this was.
I don't know if that Hilton is. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
And this was not a Hilton. It wasn't that big building. Anyway, and then so I'd stay out there for $10 a night, and then so I could stay in Austin for like, and we would pool. So you could stay in Austin for like $3 a night if you went with two friends. Yeah,
that's great. That's an emos admission.
Yeah, I guess so.
The first time I ever went to emos was with you. I'd never been there before. I really, never was into the punk scene. I grew up in a real small town. It wasn't my thing. But I remember it was after you started the call center. It must have been early '99, after you destroyed bowling. One night you were probably, I remember, you were like, hey, let's all go hang out. Let's all go to emos. I was like, all right, I've never been there. And I remember, everyone else showed up. I drove, on my own, walked in, and just being like overwhelmed with that place. I remember walking in. I'll never forget the first thing I saw was that, what is that? That giant elephant painting where it's like sticking a dagger through its ear, or whatever. I mean, like, what the fuck is this place?
And then like the montage of Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah. And we all just like hung out and shot the shit. And, that place was cool. It was fun. Before that, I'd always been kind of a casino person, which is like kind of around the corner, across the street, not too far away. But so I'd never really made the venture up Red River in that direction.
Any like memorable shows from emo stuff where you're just like, well, I can't believe I saw this band for like $3?
I mean, like too many to say. Yeah. Like every punk band from 94 to 97 played emos. Like if you name a band, I saw I don't think they're a very good band in retrospect, but they put on a really good show. I saw like right when Total Chaos was like very briefly a big deal. I saw them play. They were with Rancid. And they were really good. I just like any like Lookout Records band, any Epitaph band, like I don't know, it's hard to say. There were so many fucking bands that came through there. It was like there were bands. I don't know how they did it, but there were shows 7 nights a week, and there were like 4 nights a week. There were probably touring bands.
Well, I felt like maybe this is still the case, but it definitely felt like back then you constantly had a rotation. Going back to something we talked about before, like the Chronicle, you would always check and see who was in town because there was always someone. It didn't matter if it was a Tuesday or a Wednesday night. There was always someone coming through town that you could watch play somewhere. I'm probably just so detached from that stuff nowadays. I'm sure it still happens, but I was a lot more in tune with that back then.
I saw Blink-182 there before Cheshire Cat came out when they were still Blink.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
That's one that there was a band that I really like called Zoinks that I got. That you probably never heard of.
Nope.
There was a really good band called Zoinks that I got to see. That was a really good show one
That's
time.
cool.
I don't know why that stands out of 10,000 fucking bands.
Gus mentioned the Austin Chronicle, and I know that was something that you guys had noted that you wanted to talk about.
Oh, I was at Whole Foods buying lunch the other day.
I know. I thought you did a great job. I just dug it back around.
I got lost.
He started thinking about Zoinks.
Yeah. I got lost in bands for a minute. I was at Whole Foods the other day, and I got to thinking about how important the Austin Chronicle used to be, and I'm assuming the independent weekly newspaper in every major city is important, or was at this point in time in the same way, pre-internet. But in Austin, there's this free paper that comes out on Thursdays called the Chronicle. It's still there, and it would be where you would go to get all the show listings. So you would see you would plan out your week. You would get the Chronicle, you'd open up to the music page in the back, and then you would just circle all the bands you wanted to see and then try to figure out how to get the money to go to all those shows or how to get off work or to do whatever. But they would also have these segments called News of the Weird that was kind of like Fark or Reddit before, or just like funny internet factoid stuff.
Yeah, like weird stories that happen somewhere that you'd read up on.
You would read, and they were always just like funny, like foibles. And like dumb criminals.
Oh, it's all Florida Man stuff.
All Florida Man stuff. Yeah, there you go. It's a great way to describe it. Florida Man stuff. And then there was this, in the back, there was this section called Misconnections, which I assume is in most of these newspapers around the country, so it's not unique to Austin. But it was great in Austin because it just became a place where people communicated a lot, and it was very funny. and I guess the word would be vibey now. It became like a pretty hotbed for dating, and you could publicly watch people like meet and find each other. And it was always just weird, and you would always see people like I know Becca I would always see Becca in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she played sister in RVB, so somebody would always be misconnectioning with Becca somewhere, and I'd be like, that's fucking Becca, I know. But when the Whole Foods opened up, it changed everything.
You mean which one?
When the Whole Foods headquarters was on, it's where Book People is now. It's where REI is now. REI and Anthropology are now. It opened up. They built the building across the street at 6th and Lamar, which it used to just be a
car lot with like a really steep angle on it. Yeah, and I thought it was not even a new car lot; it was a used car lot. And I always thought it was like such prime real estate to have such a weird little dumpy car lot.
Do you remember? I think half the reason that car lot lasted as long as it did is it had that giant concrete wall with the Texas flag painted on it, and it was just like kind of iconic. But yeah, so they built the new Whole Foods there, and it became like their big flagship Whole Foods. And they hired like 1 million people, and everybody they hired was like the hottest tattooed person in Austin. It became very briefly like I don't know. It became like the Tinder for hot people was misconnections, and it was all centered around Whole Foods.
Awesome.
And to the point where people would be like, stop asking about people in Whole Foods. You're not going to date the people that check out people at Whole Foods.
Yeah.
They've got a line of people already trying to date them. And it was just like, I was thinking about it was this like just really funny window in time where you would go on a Thursday just to get the misconnections, just to laugh at all the Whole Foods misconnections.
Yeah.
You, hunky tattooed checkout guy, made a joke about my "this bike is a pipe bomb" t-shirt.
So specific.
Yeah, well, they had to be that way. They knew who you were talking about.
It was just always a little that vein, you know.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's like we talked about sustainable farming, and you told me about a place in Eugene, Oregon you vacation at. Would love to take you up on that offer. Eugene, anyone? And you're just like, fucking hell.
Can I pick out a scab?
Yeah,
Am I allowed to make Geoff a little angry here?
Oh, absolutely.
One of the things I was happiest about, but I still feel simultaneously very bad about, was when I got to be on the cover of the Chronicle, and Geoff did not.
Was this that photo shoot?
I think it was in promotion of Bloodfest.
Okay, I do. I have seen that and thought, oh, that's weird. Geoff's not in this.
I don't know. The photographer schedule had come out, and I want to say it was me, Bernie, Matt, and Barbara. It was like a weird grouping of people with weird props, and we did this photo, and then like immediately after we're done, was it someone texted Jeff? I think it was Bernie. Maybe texted Jeff and was like, "Hey, we just did a photo shoot for the cover of the Chronicle."
It was not quite. That didn't quite go down that way. What had happened was, and yes, thanks for picking up this scab. I still am very wounded by this one.
17 years ago.
This was
It was like
7 years ago.
7 or 8 years ago, maybe.
7 years ago. I was in New York for YouTube's like creator
Oh, that's right.
thing, like whatever that is, where they like
Creator Summit.
Creator Summit. And we were in Brooklyn at fucking a bowling alley or some dumb
Weren't you
shit.
hanging out with Cardi B?
She was there. Yeah, Cardi
yeah.
B was there. That was
weird.
wild. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really weird. She gave a speech, and she just talked about how the government's trying to take your money.
At least she knows.
For 15 minutes. It's probably the most insightful speech I heard all weekend. Anyway, so I was at this Creator Con thing, and I get a text from Sophie in marketing, and she goes, "Hey, we're doing the Chronicle's doing a cover story on us. Wanted to let you know. Would really like you to be involved. We're going to do a photo shoot and stuff for the cover." And I said, "You have no idea. You have no idea how much this means to me."
Right.
I was like, "Are you fucking kidding? This is amazing." She's like, "What?" And I was like, "No, you don't get it. Like, I've lived in Austin. I've been in love with the city since 1994. I've been reading this newspaper since 1994.
You'd been in it before.
I'd been in it before,
But the
but
cover.
never on
Never
the cover.
Right.
To get the cover of the Chronicle. I think my ex-wife got the cover of the Chronicle, actually.
Really?
Now that I think about it.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
you're right.
She did, yeah.
Awesome.
And so it's like to get the cover, and deservedly so, by the way.
Yeah.
And to get the cover would be like such a local coup, you know, like what a bucket list thing. And I was like, listen, we've been on the cover of the Wall Street Journal. We've been on the New York Times. We've been.
Well, some of us were in the Wall Street Journal.
I say we. I was talking about me and Bernie.
Right.
And so, but all that honestly, doesn't mean as much as this. Mm-hmm. This little, I was just talking about how important it was to our weekly routine. Right. It'd be how you planned your weekend, what fucking shows you were going to go to, who had drink specials, whatever. And so I was like, this is fucking great. Where do I need to be? When do I need to be? And she goes, the photo shoot's in an hour.
Oh, the highest highs to the lowest lows.
And I said, well, that's not going to work for me. I'm in Brooklyn. And she's like, when do you get back? And I go, I'm here for 3 more days. And she goes, well, that's not going to work. And I go, I'll tell you what, I'll fly back. Mm-hmm. I was like, I don't give a shit about this YouTube Creator Summit. I will fly back to be in this fucking, can you push it? She goes, let me see. And this is how she goes, let me see. She goes, let me see. No. And I go, okay, well, that was a really fast no. And I was like, because I can get on a plane today. I can be home by 11 o'clock tonight. Can we push the photo shoot till tomorrow morning? She's like, let me see. No. And so I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Oh. And I'm like, when did you find out about this? Mm-hmm. And she's like, I don't know, a couple days ago. And I was like, I just want to die. Oh. And so and then they took a photo of you guys with giant foam weapons that made no sense. And I felt a little better, but
it's a weird photo.
In the grand scheme of things, yeah, it's I think for me, the only opportunity I will have to get on the Chronicle in my lifetime, unless I start another business or have some other success.
I believe in you. You can do it. I'll help you, buddy.
I'm not.
Yeah, we can try. I mean, what do you want to do?
Not looking to do that.
Oh, okay.
So I think that was it.
Doesn't want to be in it that bad.
I think that ship sailed. So it's
I'm going to be on the cover.
It is a bit of a scab.
Thanks, man. Yeah, can I tell a story? Maybe that'll make you feel a little better then.
Yeah.
Talking about emos, that guy just hit that.
Hit that pylon so fucking hard.
Yeah, I hope that audio texture came through. So you're talking about emos, and we used to spend a lot of time up there on Red River.
Yeah.
Emos, Red-Eyed Fly,
Bull McCabe's.
We there was that place across the street from Red-Eye Fly next to Bull McCabe's. What was that place called? It was right next to Bull McCabe's. If you're looking at Bull McCabe's from the street, it was immediately to the left.
Valhalla?
It became Valhalla.
It was Red 7?
It was Red 7, yeah. And then we never went there too much, but it was also Elysium right there, which we did not spend a lot of time in. But I think back specifically to one time. I think it was just you and I alone for some reason. We went over there. I want to say it was to Red-Eye Fly. And we saw the most adorable band ever, Catscratch.
Catscratch.
It was like this band of
Catscratch.
High school girls. It was like all 4 members. They looked like they were 15 or 16. And I don't know, they were just giving it their best and, really into it. I was like, man, that's really adorable. And Geoff made a joke that after they were done performing, the lead singer's mom was going to come out and serve cake to everyone. And I used that as an AOL Instant Messenger handle for a long time. My AIM handle was might be cake.
Might be cake.
was because Geoff said, "Hey, when Catscratch is done playing, there might be cake." And I thought it was so funny. And then 2 years later, the lead singer died of a heroin overdose.
I was about to say, I think that band had a moment, and then it kind of took a dark turn. I didn't remember that part. I just remember something.
They were real up and coming. They were really into it. They were good. And drug overdose.
Catscratch.
That's really sad. I had totally forgotten about that night. You're right. Yeah, that was fun.
I thought about it every time I signed into AIM, which I haven't done in 10 years now.
By the way, can I tell you, I had no idea that's where you got the name from.
Might be cake. There might be cake. It was the time we saw Catscratch at Red-Eyed Fly.
Catscratch.
But it's funny, you were talking about all these punk shows you saw at emos, which is amazing. And I'm trying to I've never been a big music person.
Yeah.
On top of the fact I grew up out in the middle of nowhere, no one ever toured down there. I think you got a bunch of Tejano bands in the town I grew up in. I saw Selena.
Yeah.
In fact, if you watch the
you saw Selena?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
If you watch the Selena Netflix show, they mention Eagle Pass. I went to that show because there was a riot that broke out.
Are you serious?
And it's in the show on Netflix.
Oh, we talked about that.
Yeah. Anyway, if you watch that Selena show, they go tour town and there's a riot and they say they keep bringing it up how they'll never go back to that town. That was the town I grew up in and I was at that show.
How was the show?
It was fine. It was great until the riot broke out. But so when I came to Austin, I never really sought out a lot of bands. I never really sought out a lot of stuff. However, that being said, I did in 1999. I went to Lilith Fair.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Down at South Park Meadows. 'Cause South Park Meadows now is like a huge shopping complex, but back then it was like a big festival ground.
It was an outdoor concert.
Yeah.
I saw a bunch of mediocre bands there.
And I went to Lilith Fair with the girl I was dating at the time, and I remember there was a bunch of great artists that I was really into at the time, like Erykah Badu performed, Natalie Merchant, Bonnie Raitt, Liz Phair, Sarah McLachlan, of course, and I remember like thinking that this was going to be a cool thing. I was going to go out there with my girlfriend, and it didn't strike me as an unusual thing to be going to until I got there, and I realized there were only 2 dudes in the entire festival.
You are not the demographic
Yeah,
for Lilith Fair,
and
my man.
I knew the other dude that was there. It was well, you probably beep the name. Sorry, Eric.
God.
But I remember I walked into the festival. I looked out. I was like, "It's all women here." Yeah. Hey, it's my friend, and he was sitting on the ground. He looked up at me, and he had the weirdest, most guilty look on his face. And I was like,
He seems like he'd be a Lilith Fair.
"Yeah." And I was like,
guy.
"I'm here to have fun, man. This is gonna be awesome." Yeah, went out there, stayed out there all day. It was great.
Seems like
It was,
his vibe.
It was a great show.
He worked at the call center.
He worked at the call center too. But yeah, I remember it was such a weird, like, dawning realization walking in and be like, "Oh, there's no guys here."
Yeah, it is weird that you think of South Park Meadows now as the place where Gaddy Town is, and a good Best Buy, but the Best Buy where Adam Ellis used to work.
Yeah,
actually, but yeah, I saw Big Audio Dynamite play there,
Oh my God, wow.
and
Holy shit.
the Spin Doctors.
The Spin Doctors.
I saw the Gin Blossoms play. I thought
awesome.
Those are the shows I got drugged to by my army friends
Yeah.
who were like, "Dude, you made me go watch some band." You made me go watch some band called the Queers play for 2 hours last night. You have to go see the Gin Blossoms play.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right.
those probably cost more than $3 to go see those shows.
Yep.
Yeah.
I feel like we're wrapping up. We're getting right on to time. But
Are we?
I feel like Lilith Fair could come back now and it would kill.
I think so.
I bet.
I feel like it's been enough time where
It's been like 25 years.
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it's been enough time where it's like Lollapalooza's still around. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I feel like
Lollapalooza is still like a thing. It's,
Yeah.
it's had a whole resurgence.
I feel like
completely
Lilith
agree.
Fair could do like a big touring thing like that, and it would fucking crush. I feel like it would crush right now.
Yeah, especially if they they highlighted all the hits from that era,
Yep.
but also brought in like the Sharon Von Ettens and those kind of people of the world. You know,
Feel like you could do that with a lot of like
the Phoebe Bridgers.
Yeah, you do that with a lot of like female artists and like female-led bands and stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like it would kill. I feel
Absolutely.
like that you could just make a ton of money. So maybe that's how you can get on the Chronicle if you start a new Lilith Fair.
Get like Saint what's her name? Saint
Vincent?
Saint Vincent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
C-A-T-S-C